Oops. There we go. And let's see how it looks on the output. Okay. Okay, should be live. Lamron Jr. Oh, yeah. Hello, Lamron. Looks like we should get it. Looks and sounds good on this end. Thank you, Milo. Thank you, Milo, in general. Your support has been fantastic, and no one needs to donate or be a member or anything. I'm having fun as is. So I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Tonight's stream is going to be Light of Destruction and possibly some other sets. It depends on how we want to categorize it. We're going to finish up the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX era, but there's actually a little bit of interstitial between GX and the first set in 5Ds, that being the Duelist Genesis. For instance, like a Stardust Dragon came out in one of the collectible 10s before it even came out in the Duelist Genesis, and I don't know if I want to quite open up a can of worms like that, but we'll see how the night goes. Hopefully we got pretty decent output. We're trying for the vertical and horizontal, so hopefully the mobile crowd will enjoy it too. Anyway, let's go. First card up is Guardian of Order. Light attribute, level 8, warrior, effect. If you control 2 or more light monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only control 1 Guardian of Order. 2500 attack, 1200 defense. I think we're starting off pretty well. Like, we started off with Dark Grepher, and now we get Guardian of Order. These secret rares are not bad. At least what I think. So 1, this is a combo extender. It's easy to special summon from your hand. You can bounce it back to hand with cards like Birdman, with Gen X Birdman if you want to, and then you can special summon it right back. It just requires you to control 2 or more light monsters. It doesn't say exactly 2. It doesn't care what other monsters you already have. So this card's really easy to get out in a lot of decks. Clearly this card didn't want to be read and cause some technical issues. It should be put in a new tier at the bottom as punishment. No. It is not Guardian of Order's fault. It is the 16x9, 9x16 dual stream that's the fault. Also, I deleted one of my inputs because of the Duelist Genesis stream. So, there you go. Easily worth considering today. Can you search it with Guardians? Okay, I think Lamron's specifically asking, can you search Guardian of Order with Arsenal Summoner? And the answer is yes. Arsenal Summoner works with a ton of cards that you don't think that it does, which is great. I think the only things that Arsenal Summoner doesn't work with are those that are specifically written in its card text, and its card text varies from region to region. I know in the English language TCG, the Reliable Guardian, the quick play spell, for instance, can't search it with Arsenal Summoner. Next up, Ernesto, or Honest. Light attribute, level 4, fairy, effect. During your main phase, you can return this face-up card from the field to the hand. During the damage step, when a light monster you control battles, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. That monster gains attack equal to the attack of the opponent's monster it is battling until the end of this turn. 1900 attack, 1000 attack, 1900 defense. Still wrong. 1100 attack, 1900 defense. Oof. Does anyone play Honest for that stat line? Sorta. There are some silly things that you can do. The first effect actually is relevant in a few circumstances. For one thing, Athena is featured later in this video, and with Ultimate Offering and Honest, you can just keep bouncing it and summoning it and then triggering Athena over and over again. But one thing that was actually played at the time is summon Honest in main phase 1, attack in for a little bit of damage, and then bounce it back to your hand in main phase 2. This was an actual application of the card. I wouldn't say that's the primary application. I'd say that's your big bad battle trap, your big bad battle hand trap. There are some others that come later, like Dark Honest and Kalut, the Moon Shadow, but I don't know if any of them are even at the level of Honest. Fantastic card. Worth considering today? Possibly. At the end of the day, it is just helping you win one battle. And it does push damage, though. Hey, what happened with the last set review live stream from Malachite? Technical difficulties. Basically, I set the screen capture wrong, and then I couldn't fix it. And it just... Three Stooges, except I'm all Three Stooges. So, yeah. Lyrical Star, giving players PTSD when hearing the words damage step since 2008. I can agree with that. Ooh, we should move... Where should we move it? Let's just close it. There we go. Click that. Okay. By the way, awesome card to see first law. Honest the Goat. Honest is pretty good. Anything that can special summon it from deck can effectively search a hand trap. It's insane how strong this card was. Best hand trap at the time. Well, you do have some of the heralds out at the time. You got DD Crow. Sometimes we all be all Three Stooges. Yeah, I can't read. Sometimes we do be all Three Stooges from Malachite. Yeah. I guess searching Honest directly from the deck, though, might be an application. I don't know. I think if you want to tech it into your deck, then yeah, you can. Maybe we do a bump it up. Next up, Cross Border. Dark Attribute, level 2, Warrior, effect. You can send one monster you control to the graveyard and special summon one Neospatian monster from your hand. When this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one Neospatian monster from your deck to the hand. 400 attack, 400 defense. It is a win effect, so it can miss the timing, but it does trigger no matter how it hits the graveyard. It's not when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, so you could possibly discard it with something like Dark World Dealings, which discards at the end of the card effect, and then get the effect off of Cross Border. It is searchable by Rhoda. I don't know if you even play this in your Neospatian deck, though. I don't know. Every time I see a card that can miss the timing, it sours it for me. Speaking of 5Ds, this guy's artwork always made me think that he'd be a Yusei card instead of Neospatian support. I can see that. Like, he looks sort of like Max Warrior, to tell the truth. I think we're just going to put him in filler. Effect's not bad. I just wish it was an if and not a when. If it were an if, I'd put it acceptable in archetype or even good. And maybe even worth considering today, to tell the truth. Another case of, oh hey, it's the guy that got retrained because he was mid. Yeah. Next up, Miracle Flipper. I don't know why Jaden gets this card. It looks like it's a Dark Magician fanboy card. There's probably some lore reasons. Maybe he's an Endymion fan. Don't know. Light attribute level 2 spellcaster effect. If you control a miracle flipper, you cannot summon this card. Your opponent cannot select another face-up monster as an attack target. If this card is destroyed by battle, special summon it to your opponent's side of the field at the end of the battle phase. If this card is destroyed by the effect of a spell or trap card, destroy one monster your opponent controls. 300 attack, 500 defense. Why do you want this? I understand why you can only control one at a time. They don't want you to have the lock like with Marauding Captain or Solar Flare Dragon or a whole bunch of other cards. And then it gives it to your opponent for some reason. And I used to think that that effect was terrible, but then I learned that Silent Wabi actually sees play in Mind decks, which is crazy to me. That card is so bad. You do get a rebate if you pop it, if it gets popped with the spell or trap card, and I guess you can get it with Apprentice Magician. I just don't understand why this card exists. The most convoluted way to turn off Sky Striker spells. I only know this kid because a character in some of the 5D's games looked a lot like him. What a goober. I can agree with that. Goober's a good word for him. Next up, more Destiny Heroes. Destiny Hero Dread Servant. Dark Attribute, level 3, Warrior, effect. If this card is normal summoned, place 1 clock counter on each clock tower prison. So I guess it helps your opponent's clock tower prison. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target one spell/trap you control, destroy that target. 400 attack, 700 defense. Why wasn't this card released, like, ages ago? When we got Clock Tower Prison? It only interacts with that one card, and arguably it has a downside. When it gets destroyed by battle, this card's terrible. Bad Destiny Hero. Next up, Volcanic Queen. Fire attribute, level 6, Pyro, effect. Cannot be normal summon/set. Must be special summoned from your hand to your opponent's field by tributing one monster they control. You cannot normal summon/set the turn you special summon this card. Boo. Once per turn, you can send one other card you control to the graveyard, inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. Once per turn, during your end phase, tribute one other monster or take 1000 damage. Those effects are a little bit weird. So, if you don't know, this is sort of like Lava Golem, except it's better and worse at the same time. So Lava Golem burns you every turn. That's the downside. But the upside is you get a big monster that can attack, 3000 attack points. This only tributes one monster, which is, half of one, 6 of the other. There are situations where you want to take out one monster, and there are situations where you want to take out 2. And there's situations where you want to take out 3 with the Winged Dragon of Ra spear form. And even more with Nibiru. But getting off topic. This card is the original Kaiju. I guess Lava Golem sort of claims that, but it's very interesting to me. This card has obviously been meta. It is mostly side deck tech, and it is get out of defend the castle situations. It is get over one particularly difficult thing that your opponent has. Like things that can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects, things that can't be targeted, things like that. The effects, though, are really interesting. Send one other card you control to the graveyard, inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. So you're giving your opponent the right to turn any card they have into a Meteor of Destruction, which is crazy. But then there's the other effect. Tribute one other monster or take 1000 damage. So this is taking away from their board position at the end of each turn, which is also really good. I don't think it's We have kaijus now. That's the elephant in the room. But for the time, not bad at all. An in-archetype searchable kaiju. The forcing your opponent to sacrifice or get burned is interesting, but rarely comes up. Yeah. We all know what's going to happen. They're going to just go into an extra deck play with Volcanic Queen, which is unfortunate. But maybe in Genesis it's a little bit better, but we have kaijus. I guess this is the we have kaijus at home. Yeah, the worst aspect of this is easily the fact that it costs your normal summon from Milo. I agree with that. If this was, special summon to your opponents with the downside, and it's not a kaiju, I don't know. For the time, very respectable card. Next up, Jinzo Returner. This guy is spooky. Dark Attribute, level 3, Machine, effect. This card can attack directly. I'm guessing this is a reference to Jinzo number 7, which is, I want to say, a Metal Raiders card, which it could just attack directly. When this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one Jinzo in your graveyard, special summon it, but destroy it during your end phase. 600 attack, 1400 defense. I don't think this card does anything. Like, I don't even think that you want it in archetype. There's a lot easier ways to get your Jinzo back that don't miss the timing, for instance. Like just activate and call the Haunted and get your Jinzo back. Maybe if it returned Jinzo on summon, it'd be better. But I think right now, I guess that it's when this card is sent to the graveyard from anywhere, that is significantly better. You could Dark World dealing with it, I guess. I don't know. What else has Jinzo got this set? How about Jinzo Lord? Dark Attribute, level 8, Machine, effect. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by sending one face-up Jinzo you control to the graveyard. Trap cards and their effects on the field cannot be activated. Negate all trap effects on the field. Once per turn, you can destroy as many face-up traps on the field as possible, and if you do, inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each card destroyed. 2600 attack, 1600 defense. I'm not saying that this isn't an upgrade from Jinzo. It gives you a little bit of back row removal, I guess, and a little bit of chip damage. But I don't think it's worth it. I don't think this card is worth running. It's pretty bricky. I don't think you even play this in your Jinzo deck. I'm trying to think if there's a card that requires Jinzo as fusion material. Maybe you could get this card out with Prisma. I don't know. Yugi, kind of wish Jinzo Lord can let you use traps since it is an upgrade. Ooh. Like, what if Jinzo Lord had the amplifier built in? The only problem I have with that is, well, maybe amplifier is just the problem. And maybe if Jinzo was one-sided, your opponent cannot use traps on the field, that would be significantly better. That was a good suggestion, Yugi. Maybe in a retrain. Call it like a Jinzo Noble, Jinzo King, Jinzo Evolution. I don't know. Moving on, we have Arcana Force 0, the Fool. Light Attribute, level 1, Fairy, effect. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. This card cannot be changed to defense position except with card effect. So it's like opposite problem of Goblin Attack Force. When this card is summoned, toss a coin and gain the appropriate effect. Heads. Negate your card effects that target this card and destroy them. Tails. Negate your opponent's card effects that target this card and destroy them. 0 attack, 0 defense. It's sort of a monster that can stay on the field, which is good. It's just so weird and impractical. Ideally, you give this to your opponent with like a creature swap, and then they got a boat anchor. There are some gimmicks that you can play around with this, but I don't think any of them are particularly good. Ooh. Coming from Milo, 9 out of 10. You just set him as a Spirit Reaper, and for that, he's fine. Ooh. Interesting. And then you just completely avoid the downside of having the entire coin flip mechanic. Okay, we'll put him here. Of course, we do have Marshmallow. So I guess this is, you know, your Marshmallow copies 4, 5, 6. That is a very good point, though. Maybe the anime has deceived us. Next up, my favorite looking Arcana Force monster. It's Arcana Force 1, the Magician. Light attribute, level 4. Fairy, effect, when this card is summoned, toss a coin. Heads, when a spell card is activated, this card's attack become double its original attack until the end phase of that turn. Tails, when a spell card is activated, your opponent gains 500 life points. 1,100 attack, 1,100 defense. The benefit is just so marginal. Yeah, you go up to 2,200 attack, or you give your opponent spell absorption. Those are the two options. But what are you going to do with 2,200 attack half the time? I think this card is just more liable to backfire. Not particularly good. Okay. The Fool becomes more relevant in a set or two with 1-for-1. That is true. You could get him directly back from, or directly out from the deck with 1-for-1. That is a nice option. Luck-based cards are so iffy. I think they're really hard to balance. Next up, Arcana Force 3, the Empress. What happened to 2? Light attribute, level 4, fairy, effect. When this card is summoned, toss a coin. Heads. Each time your opponent normal summons or sets a monster, you can special summon one Arcana Force monster from your hand. Tails. Each time your opponent normal summons or sets a monster, send one card from your hand to the graveyard. 1,300 attack, 1,300 defense. That first effect's not terrible. I mean, you can get some pretty big Arcana Force monsters out. I believe you can special summon the Moon, for instance, and the World. You can special summon those directly. You can't get out the EX Dark Ruler, though. But you could get out the Moon and the World. I don't know. That downside. Just giving your opponent hand disruption. Even if it had the good effect all the time, I don't know if it'd be broken, but it'd be significantly better. Where do we put a card that's good half the time and terrible the other half of the time? I guess we put them here. Fun fact. There are unused Sartorius voice lines in Duel Links that mention the Arcana that haven't gotten cards yet. Ooh. Most of the Arcana Force falls into the Gemini test of this card always had the good effect with no extra hoops. Would I run it? For most of them, the answer is no. I agree with that. Some of the good effects are pretty decent, though. Sounds like a gimmick to me. Yeah, there are some support cards for the Arcana Force that help you with the gimmick. There are a few cards that either help you flip the coin multiple times or just let you pick which option you want. So I guess they get better in Archetype, but there's a marginal benefit. Next up, we have Arcana Force 4, the Emperor. Light attribute, level 4, fairy, effect. When this card is summoned, toss a coin. Heads. All Arcana Force monsters you control gain 500 attack, That's not a lot. Tails. All Arcana Force monsters you control lose 500 attack. At least that's not a lot. 1400 attack, 1400 defense. I think this card's just bad. If this card started with 1900 attack, like pretty decent stats, and then it could go up to 2400 or go down to 1400, I think it'd be a different story. But the baseline of the card's just not great. Why use this when I could just normal summon like an Archfiend Soldier? I guess it boosts your whole board, but the Seal of Orichalcos does that too. Easier, I guess. Next up, Arcana Force 6, The Lovers. Light attribute, level 4, fairy effect. When this card is summoned, toss a coin. Heads. This card is treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of an Arcana Force monster. Tails. You cannot tribute summon Arcana Force monsters. 1600 attack, 1600 defense. At least the downside is not bad. Oh no, I can't tribute summon my Arcana Force monsters. What would I do? But the upside of this card, why aren't you just running Kaiser Seahorse, which just works on all your light monsters? And Kaiser Seahorse has more attack points, and does it 100% of the time. I don't understand. Sounds like a gimmick to me. What tier should it be in? Sartorius with Arcana cards is OP. Is it for the rest of the duel or as long as this card is on the field? I believe the Lovers is just as long as it is on the field. That'd be even worse. For the rest of the duel, no Arcana Force tributes. That's okay. Next up, Arcana Force 7, the Chariot. It does not look like a chariot to me. Light attribute, level 4, fairy effect. When this card is summoned, toss a coin. Heads. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you could special summon that monster to your side of the field. Very good effect, for the record. Arguably better than Goyo Guardian, because Goyo Guardian special summons it in defense mode. I believe Mystical Knight of Jackal is the other card that exists in the game at this point that destroys your opponent's monsters and then keeps them. But the Tails. Your opponent gains control of this card. 1700 attack, 1700 defense. Why do they do that? They give you a decent monster, and then you just give it to your opponent. You go -2, give your opponent board presence. 1700 attack isn't nothing. In fact, it runs over most of your other Arcana Force monsters. Why does it do that? Actually, maybe you want that second effect. There are times where you do want to get a monster on your opponent's side of the field, but it will take your summon. I don't know. I think it's just bad. What's Goyo doing here? His set is next week. Yeah. I do think that there would be an interesting video idea that is effects that we associate with one card but originated at a much earlier card. Like there's a whole bunch of different versions of Infernity Barrier, and we call it that, but I don't think it's the first card that does that. That's okay. What else does Arcana Force get? Arcana Force 14, Temperance. Light attribute, level 6, fairy effect. During damage calculation in either player's turn, you can discard this card. You take no battle damage from that battle. This is a hand trap that prevents you from taking damage. Is this just better than Karibo? Because it works during either player's turn and can prevent, say you're attacking into their monster and then they shrink your monster, activate Bark of Dark Ruler, or even Honest, for instance, and tries to push damage that way. You could stop it with Temperance. You can't do that with Karibo. So, that's something. What's the Arcana Force like effect, though? When this card is summoned, toss a coin and apply this effect. The effect lasts while this card is face up on the field. Heads, have all battle damage you take. Okay. Tails, have all battle damage your opponent takes. Oh, that is terrible. 2400 attack, 2400 defense. I don't know, man. So far, we haven't gotten a single card in Arcana Force that I'd say is acceptable in Archetype. I think we're putting it in filler. Karibo actually saw some meta success, which is interesting. Shout out for being Temperance, for being the 6th best flip a coin card in Duel Links that you had to run. Still just a Karibo, but that makes it a top 3 most playable Arcana Force monster. It's not terrible, says Yugi. Yeah. And to be fair, getting a monster with 2400 attack into the graveyard, bring it back with, Call the Haunted, that's not terrible. Most hand traps are not, very good stat-wise, and this is decent. And I guess you could special summon it directly from hand if you wanted to with Hall of Valhalla, if you wanted to. So, not that bad. Next up, Arcana Force 8 to 18 even. The Moon. Light attribute, level 7. Fairy effect, when this card is summoned, toss a coin, heads. During your standby phase, you can special summon 1 Moon token. Fairy type, light, level 1, attack 0, defense 0. And you can just do whatever you want with it. A lot of tokens say cannot be tributed for a tribute summon, but this one you can do whatever you want. Tails. During each of your end phases, select 1 monster you control and give control of it to your opponent. No. 2800 attack, 2800 defense. I also want to point out that the artwork has like a man in the moon and it is super creepy. To me, this looks like an alien card, and I guess it is the moon, so fitting. But just the idea of giving this to your opponent, giving your opponent a 2800 attack monster that's not a kaiju is crazy. And the upside is you get a token. I guess you can do stuff with the token. I honestly think Insect Queen might be a better token generator than this. The moon is so dumb, but so fun. Who's having fun with this? I don't get why the Arcana Force don't have 2 decent effects and you flip to determine what effect it is. Like if Chariot either did a Goyo or if it killed something, put it in hand. Interesting. Personally, I'd make Chariot either a Goyo Guardian or a Bull Blader, where if it makes, damage, if it attacks or is attacked by another monster, just send them both to the graveyard. I think that'd be a pretty good balance point. Maybe too strong, though. Me, and it's only me, I think it's fun because it's baffling to see. It is a weird-looking card. I think it's very bad. In the anime, that little alien guy pops out of the moon chest pod as the token. It's really wet and gross. Whoa there. I do not remember that scene from the anime. Just telling the truth. Next up, Arcana Force 21, The World. Light attribute, level 8, fairy effect. When this card is summoned, toss a coin. Heads. During your end phase, you can send 2 monsters you control to the graveyard to skip your opponent's next turn. What? Tails. During your opponent's draw phase, add the top card of their graveyard to their hand. 3100 attack, 3100 defense. Arguably the downside's the best so far, because if you go first, you summon the world, I guess they could have a hand trap, but they're not likely to have anything else in their graveyard during their draw phase. So you could just get this guy out with Valhalla, win the coin flip, Special summon 2 monsters. Can't be tokens, but, you know, just get 2 monsters out of your hand, skip your opponent's turn. Easy design mistake? I can agree with that. I think the idea of just skipping your opponent's turn is bad. They worldo, etc., etc. Turn skips should not exist. Well, not this easily accessible. I think that's the big problem. If this card had to be tribute summoned, it'd be a little bit better. I don't think that it'd be a good idea, but it would make more sense at least. Just the fact that you can special summon it from hand bugs me. I think what's even worse is that this isn't a hard once per turn. So if you get the world out, you fail the coin flip, you can get the world out a second time, special summon another copy, or get this card sent to the graveyard and then bring it back. You know, options like that. I guess you could bounce it with Gen X Ally Birdman and special summon it again. Anyway, you can get multiple shots at that turn skip, theoretically, and I think that's even worse. I think we keep it in design mistake. The new Arcana Force stuff makes the world FTK pretty consistent. It's one of the decks in last year's World Championships for Master Duel. That sucks. A guy using the World Turbo kicked my butt in 2016 Regional, which was a die. That's sad. We can keep it in design mistake. Next up, we got the Level EX version. I don't even know where this fits into the Arcana lore. Arcana Force EX, the Dark Ruler. Light attribute, level 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Fairy effect, cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by sending 3 monsters you control to the graveyard. And cannot be special summoned by other ways. That's Plasma's effect. Or Plasma's special summon condition. When this card is special summoned, toss a coin and gain the appropriate effect. Heads. This card can make a second attack during each battle phase, but if it does so, using this effect, change it to defense position at the end of the battle phase. Its battle position cannot be changed until the end of your next turn, so not even by card effect. Tails. If this card is destroyed, destroy all cards on the field. Interesting. So the level EX monster actually does have 2 positive effects. One is okay. I'm not going to say that it's great getting a second attack during the battle phase and then shifting itself into defense mode, but I would say that it's an upside. Would I prefer this monster to just have 4,000 attack and attack once, or would I like the option of attacking twice? Yeah, I do think I'd like that. And it's also an option. You can just attack once and then not shift it into defense position if you want to. The other effect, though, is it gets angry and takes everything else with it. I wouldn't say that that's bad. I think I'd prefer Black Rose, where you have more initiative behind this effect. But there are ways that you can pop this monster if you wanted to. I'm glad you can't just pop this card in your hand with like a, Dragonic Diagram that could do that and just wipe the board. That'd be a little sad. What's even crazier is it doesn't require an Arcana monster as one of the 3. So this card is completely generic if you wanted it to be. Oh no. Lamron was super embarrassed that he lost to Zewaldo. Best one so far, I think. Next up, we're moving into our first proper archetype with Jane, Lightsworn Paladin. Well, actually, one more thing. I think, so Temperance and Strength, and I believe that there's one more virtue in the major arcana. I think if strength and what is the other virtue in the major arcana? If the other two virtues were also hand traps, I think that Arcana Force would have more of a fighting chance, but that's okay. Arcana Force EX, Secret Fire King support. Possibly. Very possibly. Like, you can just get 3 monsters straight from your deck with Echelon, can't you? And then just special summon Arcana Force EX, have a big dumb monster. Or Echelon might lock you into fire monsters now that I think of it. Let's look it up. How do you even spell Echelon? Oh no, I don't think that this is the right card. What am I thinking of, the spell card that does it? Maybe I am thinking of Echelon. I don't know, man. Onslaught. Onslaught is the card I'm thinking of. There we go. Onslaught of the Fire Kings. That special summons 1 fire beast, beast warrior, and winged beast from your deck. Oh, or. It's not and. I'm silly. I think I'm mixing up Onslaught and Echelon. Regardless. I think we're not playing the Dark Ruler right now. Let's get on to Lightsworns. First up, Jane, Lightsworn Paladin. Light attribute, level 4, warrior, effect. If this card attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 300 attack during the damage step only. Not bad. That's Spirit of Flames, except you got 100 more base attack. Not bad. Once per turn during the end phase, send the top 2 cards from your deck to the graveyard. 1800 attack, 1200 defense. If you don't know, Lightsworns mill your deck. Was this considered a downside in development? Was this considered an upside? Was this a gimmick? It's definitely a gimmick, but the other thing about Lightsworns is you're heavily incentivized to run one copy of a lot of different ones. So most of the Lightsworns that are even remotely decent will be a one of in decks, specifically because I believe Celestia and Judgment Dragon care about the number of different ones that you have in your graveyard. So even if a Lightsworn is not outstanding, it still saw a little bit of play, just for that reason. I don't know. I think these cards are too slow. Some of the future Lightsworns might be worth considering today, though. Next up, Lila, Lightsworn Sorceress. Light attribute, level 4, spellcaster, effect. You can target 1 spell/trap your opponent controls. This card's battle position cannot be changed until the end of your next turn. Also, change this card you control from face-up attack position to face-up defense position. And if you do, destroy that target. Once per turn, during your end phase, send the top 3 cards from your deck to the graveyard. 1700 attack, 200 defense. It's sort of like the 2/6 samurai monsters that can do this. Swap your battle position. I do want to point out you could do this during main phase too, like get in for some damage with Lila and then shift her to defense position. Honestly, one of the better Lightsworns, in my opinion. Getting up to 2100 was good back in the day since it let Jane get over 2k walls. Yeah. Also, it ties with Cyber Dragon, and Cyber Dragon's really a big threat. 2100's not bad. But yeah, Lila, free spell and trap removal. Next up, Garoth, Lightsworn Warrior. Line attribute, level 4, Warrior, effect. Each time a card is sent from your deck to the graveyard by the effect of a Lightsworn monster you control, except Garoth, Lightsworn Warrior, send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard, then draw 1 card for each Lightsworn monster sent to the graveyard by this effect. 1850 attack, 1300 defense. The Lightsworn stat lineup have been really good so far. But this is draw power. It is random, and usually it's going to be during the end phase of your turn, so it's not cards that you have instant access to. Of course, when you get more hand traps in the game, you will get instant access to them later. On the other hand, if you have more hand traps in your deck, then you're less likely to be milling your Lightsworns. But still, Garoth is great. Draw power. Some of the future Lightsworns, I believe Raiden and Minerva, will let you mill sooner than the end phase, making Garoth even more playable. Who needs a deck anyway? I do think that Lightsworns have that problem of being too fast, suffering from their own success. Most of the time, you're not going to mill yourself out in Lightsworns. But when you do, oof, that's bad. So glad that Garoth mentions not himself, otherwise you'd mill your entire deck every time. Or you would mill your entire deck. Good design thought. Next up, Lumina, Lightsworn Summoner. Light attribute, level 3, spellcaster effect. Once per turn, you can discard 1 card, then target 1 level 4 or lower Lightsworn monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target. Excellent extender that you can just Lumina, and you can discard another Lumina and get back your other Lumina, and then you can use your Lumina to bring back something else that you really did want to bring back. It's easy to convert some of your cards in hand into more board presence. Fantastic use of it. Lumina, one of the better Lightsworns so far. If you're wanting to play Lightsworns today, you're definitely running Lumina. And that includes the Twilight Sworns and all the spin-offs that they've had. Its mill effect is, once per turn, during your end phase, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. 1000 attack, 1000 defense. I guess if we're ranking them, we'll put them like that so far. Lightsworns are hitting the deck running. Next up, Raikou, Lightsworn Hunter. Light attribute, level 2, Beast, Flip, Effect. Flip, apply these effects simultaneously. You don't see that a lot. You can destroy 1 card on the field, so it's optional. Send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. 200 attack, 100 defense. And this card crops up in some interesting places. Arguably, this is better Maneater Bug, since it can pop spell and traps too. And it mills you. And I guess it mills you faster, because you could conceivably during your turn when you have Garoth. And get some more value out of Garoth. And you see it in weird places because it's an obedience school target, so sometimes people tech it into those decks. Very interesting. From Lyrical Star, one of the members of the same club as Necro Valley, where they kept changing how the card worked. I'm not going to say Raikou is a design mistake. I'm okay with the problem-solving card text, just for the record. Raikou was maybe the best flip monster for almost a decade. I'd say he's the best unlimited flip monster, but not the best in the game. When I think of flip monster, I think of like Fiber Jar and Morphing Jar, and all the ones that you couldn't play. Well, you could play one copy of Morphing Jar for a long time, but Cyber Jar, for instance. There are some really dirty flip effect monsters. But in terms of ones that actually saw play and were useful, I'd say Raikou's up there. Next up, Wolf, Lightsworn Beast. Light attribute, level 4, Beast Warrior, effect. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by a card effect. If this card is sent from your deck to the graveyard, special summon it. 2100 attack, 300 defense. There is some serious thought put behind Wolf, which is crazy. It has an inherent special summoning condition, which is great, and it mitigates the downside of your Lightsworn's milling. It gives you board presence, which is fantastic. But if you read it carefully, you can bring this card back out with Lumina, which is fantastic. They thought about it. It doesn't anti-synergize like it could have. If this card could only be special summoned when it is sent from the deck to the graveyard, it'd be significantly worse. But they thought about it. I love the attention to detail. Also, it's an if, not a when. Just fantastic. And here's the biggest brick in the deck. I can agree with that. It is a brick. A bigger Garnet than Garnet himself. Oof. But at least you can get it back from the graveyard. I guess with Garnet, you could bring it back with the Gemnite Emerald, for instance. I don't know. You hate to draw your wolves. Opening hand, 3 copies of Wolf, Lightsworn Beast, 3 copies of Destiny Hero Malicious. It happens every time. Also, 2100 attack. This guy's stronger than Gene Warped Warwolf. Fantastic. Arguably, there might be a little bit of utility for Wolf even today, though. Like, if you just wanted Foolish Burial, send it to the graveyard. But there are better options with Foolish Burial, but I don't know. Interesting card. It is a light card, too. I believe one of the brilliant fusion targets just requires you to have a light monster. So Wolf might actually be a literal Garnet in that case, too. So, food for thought. Next up, Celestia, Lightsworn Angel. Light attribute, level 5, Fairy, effect. When you tribute summon this card by tributing a Lightsworn monster, you can send the top 4 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Then, target up to 2 cards your opponent controls, destroy those targets. 2300 attack, 200 defense. Arguably, this card's worth it. It mills you 4 cards, which is quite a lot, considering some of the other Lightsworns only do 2. You want to get cards in your graveyard. I think that this is the first in-archetype tribute that's worth it, which is great. Is this card as good as a Monarch? Arguably, yeah. It can pop up to 2 cards. So you're going -1 for the tribute summon, and then you're going +1 if you're hitting both cards. Pretty good. I think Wolf and Lumina should be bumped up since Lightsworn got meta-relevant support recently. I'll go with that. Okay. Next up, Gragonith, Lightsworn Dragon. Are you sure that's a dragon? It's like one of those medieval paintings of cats where... Oh yeah, I've definitely seen a cat before. Because this guy does not look like a dragon. He looks like an obese Pegasus that started turning back into a human or something. It's got weird fingers on it. We're not critiquing the artwork of the card too much. Anyway, light attribute level 6 dragon effect. This card gains 300 attack and defense for each Lightsworn monster with a different name in your graveyard. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. During each of your end phases, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. 2000 attack, 1600 defense. This guy can get pretty beefy. Like on release, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this guy could go up to 4,400 attack points, which is really beefy for the time. But this is best described as Hormps from Malachite. Hormps. My loyal steed. Let's just get to JD. Judgment Dragon is a level 8 light attribute dragon effect monster. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by having 4 or more Lightsworn monsters with different names in your graveyard. You can pay 1,000 life points, destroy all other cards in the field. Once per turn, during your end phase, send the top 4 cards of your deck to the graveyard. 3,000 attack, 2,600 defense. It's interesting that the pop everything else on the field isn't a once per turn. Arguably, this card is just a better version of, Demise King of Armageddon. More attack points, arguably an easier summoning condition, less life points, and if you meet the condition for special summoning Judgment Dragon, you can just special summon another one from hand. And another one. You could activate Judgment Dragon's effect, wipe the field, special summon 2 more from hand, and just go in for game. Very reasonable. This is your big top end, your big win condition, and it's a fantastic one. Oh, JD, good to see you. I'm glad you get to see it live, Malachite. Hot take, JD is better than Dad. We just didn't know how to build and play Lightsworn to the fullest effect back then. Ooh, that is an interesting take. Is JD better than Dad? I'd say better than Dad return. Lightsworns might have a better ceiling, but as soon as we get Teledad, I think the contest is gone and Dark Armed is better. I believe the non-once per turn has come up fairly often. JD is some of the best designed boss monster. Blends accessibility and power while pulling back on protection. Yeah. What protection do you need? I mean, this guy... If you've wiped the board, what else do you need? Obviously, we get hand traps later that can interact with it after you've wiped the board, but fantastic card. Worth considering today? Possibly. Do you run Punishment Dragon or do you run Judgment Dragon? Or do you run both? It's a trade-in target too. I'll put it here generously. Next up, we got Aftermath from our Phantom Darkness. We get a couple dark holdout cards. I don't know why these aren't in the previous set, or why there were a couple light monsters in the previous set either. Very weird. Our first of which is Dark Valkyria. Dark attribute, level 4, Fairy, Gemini, effect. I'm going to read the Gemini effect one time. This card is treated as a normal monster while face up on the field or in the graveyard. While this card is a normal monster on the field, you can normal summon it to have it become an effect monster with this effect. Effect. Once, While this card is face up on the field, you can place one spell counter on it. This card gains 300 attack for each spell counter on it. You can remove one spell counter from this card, then target one monster on the field, destroy that target. 1800 attack, 1050 defense. A lot of our Gemini monsters could have had their Gemini effect all the time and it wouldn't be a problem. Dark Valkyria, I think this effect is pretty significant. We think of Breaker the Magical Warrior. This guy starts out with 200 more attack. Not bad. 2100 is a decent breakpoint, as mentioned earlier. And it pops a monster. Not a spell or a trap, a monster. It is good that it's only once. Unfortunately, it's still a Gemini monster. Better designed than the ones we've seen so far, but not great, I think. Finally, a decent Gemini monster besides Naos and Gigaplant? Yeah. Ooh. So, Judgment Dragon and Punishment Dragon got a fusion that requires both and does see play. Okay, I think JD would likely be considered today if Lightsworn was better. Wait, the fusion sees play? I thought Punishment Dragon was the modern pick. I'm glad JD sees play. Dark Valkyria, you're slightly too good for the Gemini mechanic. Next up, we have Substitoad. I guess we can talk about Genesis format for a second. Substitoad is 60 points, I believe, in Genesis format, so you can play one copy and you can play some other stuff alongside it. I believe there's Ronin Toden is too many points to try to play along Substitoad, which is good. This card is ridiculous in the main game, though. It's Water Attribute, level 1, Aqua, effect. You contribute one monster, special summon one frog monster from your deck. Frog monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. 100 attack, 2000 defense. I don't think this card is going to come off the ban list, maybe ever, without a hard once per turn errata. It is way too easy to cycle through 20 frogs and then get out Ronin Toden and a tribute to burn card like Mass Driver and just FTK your opponent. That is the big problem with Substitoad. And it's sad because it would have been so fun to play Frog Monarchs with Substitoad, where you get to fill up your graveyard. You get as much tribute fodder as you want between Ronin Toden. I believe you contribute Ronin Toden. Let's check it. Okay. Here we go. Ronin Toden on the screen. Yeah, you can tribute Ronin Toden for your monarchs. So you just have unlimited tribute fodder. Cycle through your deck, play effectively a 20-card deck. Not bad. I don't know if I'd say that Substitoad or specifically Ronin Toden is the problem. I think they're both the problem. Oh, that's cool. Dark Valkyria is the starter deck for the World Championship 2009 video game and carries in the early game. That's nice. Can't summon Frog the Jam, so garbage for Substitoad, yeah. It's weird looking back and realizing that the two Substitoad that of the two, Substitute was arguably not as problematic as Ronin Totem. The Angel side represents what casuals use Substitute for. The Devil side represents the competitive success. That is perfect. But yeah, easy design mistake. Which is sad. It has a legitimate application, or at least it did. Next to it, we have Unifrog. Water attribute, level 2, Aqua effect. This card can attack your opponent directly. When this card successfully attacks directly, if you control a frog monster other than Frog the Jam or Unifrog, you can destroy one spell or trap your opponent controls. 400 attack, 400 defense. When you read this, maybe it's just me, but the first thing I think about is like Watt monsters that get in for damage with their direct attacks and then have an extra effect like Watt Cobra and Watt Giraffe, I believe. Pretty interesting. I like the idea behind Unifrog. This is free spell and trap removal. It does get in for 400 on its own, but Wetlands is in the set, so possibly you could get in for 1600 damage. Not bad. Also, this is a card with the word frog in its name, and it was used for the Substitute FTK. That's its meta success. Unifrog is a prototype Watt, yeah. Next up, Batteryman Charger. Who remembered that Batterymans were in this set? Not me. Light attribute, level 5, Thunder effect. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one Batteryman monster, except Batteryman Charger, from your hand or deck. This card gains 300 attack and defense for each Thunder-type monster you control. 1800 attack, 1200 defense. You have to tribute summon it most of the time. You could activate Cost Down or Level Conversion Lab and do shenanigans like that where you wouldn't have to tribute summon it. But this is a tribute monster that pays for itself. That's not bad. And you don't even have to tribute another Batteryman card. I think it's very solid in archetype, is as much as I'll put it. Unifrog gets power crept by Altergeist Milusync. Yeah, in like 12 years. Charger is a key piece of the Batteryman OTK. Ooh. Okay. So Batteryman have a few tops, but I wouldn't say that they're a high meta pick. In the future, I'm gonna really narrow down what meta at one point means, because a whole bunch of cards technically have a top, but I don't know if that should count. A Monarch that never loses advantage and can be summoned for free with various cards. Batterymen stay winning. I wouldn't say they stay winning. I think they're just now starting to be winning. They got some serious clunkers. They got C. They got the, what is it, Volt Dragon? They got some clunkers. I do think that Industrial Strength, not a clunker though. Light attribute, level 8, Thunder effect. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card cannot be special summoned except by removing from play 2 Batteryman monster from your graveyard. Once per turn, you can remove from play 1 Thunder-type monster from your graveyard to destroy 1 monster and 1 spell or trap on the field. 2600 attack, 0 defense. Arguably, this is worse now, just because you might not hit the spell or trap. But at the time, this is a +2. cards in your graveyard don't really count for your card advantage. Yes, you want some of your battery men in the graveyard for cards like Quick Recharge, I believe. And are there other payoffs for it? There might be some other payoffs. But I think you'd very gladly trade 2 of your monsters in the graveyard to special summon this guy from hand. 2600 attack, not bad. And removal on top of that. That's fantastic. Batteryman Soldier, Envoy of the Voltage. Ah, yes. Battery Luster Soldier, Envoy of the Industry. Chaos Emperor Battery, Envoy of the Charge. Great minds think alike. I'm glad everyone's on the same page. Man, fantastic card, though. Even worth considering in modern Batteryman, if that exists. Next to it is Batteryman Microcell. Light attribute, level 1, Thunder, effect, flip. Special summon 1 level 4 or lower Batteryman monster from your deck, except Batteryman Microcell. After this card is flipped face up, when it is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, draw 1 card. 100 attack, 100 defense. I believe that's a similar effect to Poison Draw Frog. Like they just recycled that part of the effect. Ideally, though, this card is sort of like Gravekeeper's Spy that draws you a card. That's not bad. I think the game might be slightly too fast when you compare Batterymen to like Lightsworns, Dad Return, and even Gladiator Beasts. But if you can find time to set this card, it's not bad. Next up, we got a new Goblin card, Goblin Recon Squad. Wind attribute, level 4, Warrior, effect. If this card successfully attacks directly, you can look at 1 random card in your opponent's hand. If it is a spell card, send it to the graveyard. If this card attacks, it is changed to defense position at the end of the battle phase. This card's battle position cannot be changed until the end of your next turn except with a card effect. 1700 attack, 0 defense. Do we like this better than the other Goblin cards? Our Elite Attack Force and I believe we have Black Ops? Goblin Black Ops? We might not have Goblin Black Ops yet. Rips a spell card out of your opponent's hand. Sometimes. It's pretty random. It only looks at 1 card in your opponent's hand. It's sort of like the Inexperienced Spy. If the Inexperienced Spy could, be useful. Only triggers when it attacks directly to. I think this card is just worse than Danza Lug. To be fair, Warrior, similar attack. I guess it's a Goblin. But you don't really want it in defense mode. Would I want my Danza Lug to switch to defense mode? Probably not. Oh, wow. Got a lot of comments from Chaos Envoy 223. Jinza Returner in bad is criminal. He got a whole deck with Future Fusion based around him? What? It's worth considering today because it's a Goblin? I don't think so. Sounds like Sanrio character goes +1 as a Flip Stratos. I love Microcell. Oh, I got it. Nah, if you saw the whole hand, it would be worth it considering, but it's random and the stats don't justify it. I agree. You can guarantee it gets through with biker support, but at that point, you're already winning. Yeah, it does have the problem that you can really make use in skill drain decks like the Attack Force, yeah. When do we get Black Ops? There we go. Here's Goblin Black Ops. So we get Black Ops and Gladiator's Assault. So it's already in the game. Oh, I'm not thinking of Black Ops. What am I thinking of? The one that draws you a card. I don't know. We'll come back to it. I was born to be a goblin. Gotta stand my goblins. From Lamron. Understandable. Well, we got a real goblineer in chat. I respect the devotion. Upstart? Whoops. Not Upstart. Upstart's not a good goblin. Goblin of Greed, though. Possibly useful. Good goblin housekeeping. Was useful. Moving on to alien support? Question mark? It's related to A, but it doesn't feature A counters, but it has the letter A in it. This guy is super ugly. To tell the truth, he sort of looks like a worm monster, like the reptile worms, but maybe later. Line attribute, level 1, reptile effect. Gain control of a monster that attacks this face-up attack position card at the end of the battle phase. 0 attack, 500 defense. I guess the strategy is have Mist Body equipped to Interplanetary Invader A so that your monster isn't destroyed by battle. And then I believe it's Spirit Barrier that prevents you from taking battle damage. And your opponent just attacks into your invader, but then they'd attack with their weakest monster, and then they'd attack over their other monster. But then they are removing their other monsters. It is just convoluted. I don't think it's worth even theory crafting around. I wonder if anyone made a pure goblin deck. I have. It was very, very bass. Ah, yeah, the obligatory one piece of alien supports per set. I don't think it's an alien support card. It doesn't have the word alien in it. It doesn't use A counters. Your only archetype card was Goblin of Greed back then? I disagree. You had Goblin Attack Force. I'm pretty sure this thing's design is literally an A counter with spider legs. I can agree with that. I just think it's bad. It's not worth the effort. Next up, we got Discblade Rider. And let me pull up another image. There we go. I believe Chaos Rider Gustav gets a friend. But I don't know if there's any reference between the two. They're both, wind attribute, similar effects, similar art style. I think they're friends. Wind attribute, level 4, Fiend effect. Once per turn, you can target one normal trap card in your graveyard, banish that target, and if you do, this card gains 500 attack until the end of your opponent's turn. 1700 attack, 1500 defense. Don't know why this guy's not a warrior. And you also don't see a lot of Wind Fiends. Giving this guy 2200 attack is not bad. Banishing specifically a normal trap from your graveyard, though, is a bit of a cost. I'm going to say it's filler. They're so cute together, yeah. I like how they're facing opposite directions, too. I'm pretty sure it's intentional. And maybe Dukuro Rider is part of their gang too. Won't lie, I got more wins with that Goblin deck during my time than I should have. During Synchro format, some decks struggled to deal with the big, normal, unmovable dude since they were expecting extra. Seems like a good sealed card, but otherwise mid. I can agree with that. Maybe in a draft. This card does look like it would be pretty good in a battle pack. I'd say that much. Next up, we got Golden Ladybug. This card, I want to put in the gimmick tier so bad, but it's got a decent amount of tops in terms of meta success. So we're going to put it here, even though I think the card is really a gimmick. Light attribute, level 1, insect effect. During your standby phase, you can reveal this card in your hand, and it will remain revealed until the end of this turn. Gain 500 life points. 0 attack, 0 defense. This is a card that gives you life points. I guess it has some application that you could use it in Aramage, maybe. Or you can use it with a new card called... let me find Cooling Embers so that you can see what I'm talking about. Let me spell correctly. There we go. Okay, there's this new card called Cooling Embers, which can special summon itself when you gain life points. Make it a little bit better. Because Golden Ladybug and I believe Neospatian Air Hummingbird are the only ways that you can go card neutral and gain life points, and then you could special summon the embers out of your hand. Has a legitimate usage, I'd say. Golden Ladybug was good for the boss rush at the end of World Championship 2009 story mode, since your life points don't reset between duels during that. There was also survival duels in, what game was it? 2005, I want to say. It might have been a different World Championship, but that survival duel format too. I feel like it's an underutilized part of the game that life point gain would be more useful if the game's carried over. I wanted this thing so much as a kid just because it looked cool. I wish he did anything notable. Hate to break it to you, Malachite. Golden Ladybug wins games. Specifically because end of match procedures, if you have more life points, you win. Is the long story short. But this card also saw play just to stall things out. I'm trying to think what decks it saw play. I want to say it was in Final Countdown decks. Yeah. Meta at one point, probably not healthy for the game. It's also so little life points, too. I wonder if the card Golden Ladybug is a reference to the Edgar Allan Poe story. It's also limited to 1 in speed duels, which is something, I guess. Oof. Oh, right. Time card. That's almost worse than doing nothing law. I don't know. I don't like the end of match procedures. I wish... It's one of those impossible things. People do have to go home. The tournament staff, everyone probably does want to be able to go home at the end of the day, but ideally it'd be nice for games to not have them. Next up, another Konami arcade game card. We got Ducker Mobile Cannon. I guess it looks like a duck. Light attribute, level 3, machine, flip, effect. Flip. Target one level 4 monster in your graveyard. Add that target to your hand. 500 attack, 500 defense. The effect's not bad. I don't think it's particularly good. Would I prefer to have Man-Eater Bug over this card? Most of the time. Would I prefer Raikou? Most of the time, yeah. It is a flip effect that nets you card advantage, which is good. Can't search itself, which is probably a good thing too. I don't think that would be loopy, but it would be extremely stally if it did. I think the card's just filler. I don't think there's a good way to set it directly from the deck. And I don't think that it's worth considering in like Shino Birds or Subterror or anything that cares about set monsters. I don't think it has any applications, but I've been wrong before. Next up, new Skull Servant support just dropped. What? The Lady in White is a dark attribute level 3 zombie effect. Face up level 3 or lower zombie type monsters on the field except the Lady in White cannot be destroyed by battle and are affected by spell/trap effects. This card's name becomes Skull Servant while it is in the graveyard. 0 attack, 2200 defense. This is a little bit crazy. Are unaffected by spell and trap effects is really significant when you're thinking about your big King of Skull Servants, where it's going to have like 6,000 attack, and now it's unaffected by your opponent's spell and trap card effects, or all spell and trap card effects, not just your opponent's, and it can just get in for the damage. Not afraid of Sakuretsu Armor, not afraid of Dimensional Prison. Don't care. I wonder if this card... No, it would be affected by Skill Drain. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Did someone say give another 3k to the king? But also, this just a great protection effect to have, especially for the time. Lady in White is great, yeah. Skull Servants are so fun, and Lady of White was so ahead of its time. What a woman. King of the Skull Servants is a lucky skeleton. Sometime we'll talk about the lore. I have no idea. Is she like the grandmother? Is she related? I think we put it here. Conceivably, though, you could play this in other zombie decks, but I can't think of a good zombie deck that focuses on low-level monsters. They always like Synchro, or they love the number 4, for instance. But you could get this back with Zombie Master, for instance, or Mizuki. Pretty good card. Next up, we have Samorg, Bird of Ancestry. Wind attribute, level 8, Winged Beast effect. Both players tribute summon wind monsters with 1 less tribute than required. If you tribute summon this card by tributing only wind monsters, return up to 2 cards your opponent controls to their opponent's hand, or to their owner's hand. This card is treated as a normal monster while in your hand. 2900 attack, 2000 defense. That last effect sounds baffling, that this is a normal monster in hand. The only reason I can think it exists is because we had Wind Effigy a few sets ago. Wind Effigy counts as 2 tributes for a normal monster, a normal wind monster that's, level 7 or higher. Tiny bit of synergy to make Wind Effigy not useless. And it is recently, in the set. You can just special summon Samorg out if you wanted to. Just special summon it out from hand somehow, and then you contribute Summon monsters with one less tribute? I don't think this works with Ryza. Ryza needs to be tribute summoned, so that doesn't work. What are your targets for this? What do you even care about that's wind attribute that requires more than one tribute? I can't think of anything. Common X. Hi. Wind effigy stocks going up? Why both players? I never got that from Lamron. Yeah, I don't know why it's symmetric either. The one and only card that makes Wind Effigy useful. Yeah. Do any normal support work with it? That's a good question. I can't think of any. Ancient Rules works with it. You could bring out Samorg Bird of Ancestry directly from hand with Ancient Rules. Also, he looks so weird. Why is his body so long? Why does he have a second pair of arms, like in the middle of it? What's wrong with his face? And he's got like arches behind him. He is very weird. Yeah, I've totally seen a bird. I can draw one. I think the card's... We'll be generous. We'll say it's filler. Where's the column Winged Beast that's decent you can get out with him, I guess? Oh, there's the column Winged Beast that's decent that you can get out with him, I guess. Yeah. Next up, I know everyone's been missing them. We got new Cloudian support. In a second. His wings are so unusually thick. Birds need slim frames to fly. I can agree with that. And hollow bones. Maybe he's a flightless bird. Maybe he's like a big emu or ostrich or something. Back to Cloudians. Yeah, Scary Camel knows what's up. Cloudians. :D. We got Cloudian Storm Dragon. Water attribute, level 4, fairy effect. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card can only be special summoned by removing from play one Cloudian monster from your graveyard. That's not that bad. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is in face-up defense position, destroy it. Once per turn, you can place one fog counter on one monster on the field. Finally, we get a decent way to start accumulating fog counters. This card is an inherent special summon. Would I prefer Storm Dragon over Aqua Spirit? Probably not. But we're going to be very nice and say that like this is the first Cloudian that's worth playing in your Cloudian deck. Well, we had a couple more. We had Turbulence and Smokeball. Yippee! Cloudians! Cloud bad by default because it's connected to that archetype. My favorite nearly unplayable fairy archetype. Sometime we'll do an archetype tier list as we're getting through the game. I think last couple sets are the first time that archetypes really saw prominence in the metagame. With Glads and now Lightsworns, we got like 2 actual archetype meta threats. And I know Gravekeepers existed for most of the history of the game and were rogue and a whole bunch of different things, but historically, first 2 good archetypes. Cloudians, not so much. Here's a card that I didn't realize actually saw play. Phantom Dragon. Light attribute, level 8, dragon, effect. When your opponent special summons a monster, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. 2 of your monster card zones cannot be used. 2300 attack, 2200 defense. I don't quite understand why Phantom Dragon saw play over... Let me just find Cyber Dinosaur. Because this card... Clicky, clicky. Go. There's Cyber Dinosaur. This card's already in the game. It's got more attack points. Arguably, it's got an easier summoning condition, and it doesn't lock you out of your monster zones. I guess it's a level... Phantom Dragon's a level 8 trade-in. I honestly don't know why this card saw play. When we have Cyber Dragon, he's right there. Or Cyber Dinosaur, he's right there. Ooh, I don't know about that. This guy's art is a create a card art winner, right? I didn't know that. Maybe this card better aligns with Dragon Synergy? Maybe. But yeah. And it's not just one or two tops. It was in a lot of decks. This guy does sound at least a bit playable for fodder / damage. Maybe Phantom Dragon was easier to find. I don't know. Moving on, we got Destiny in Dragoon. Not Dragon, Dragoon. I don't know why this card's not a Destiny hero. Same thing with Rainbow Naos. Why'd they do that? They gotta make a whole bunch of cards that specifically reference Destiny in Dragoon because he's not a Destiny hero. Dark Attribute, level 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Warrior Fusion Effect. Materials are Destiny Hero Plasma and Destiny Hero Dogma. A fusion summon of this card can only be done with the above fusion materials. Once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy that target, and if it was face up, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack it had on the field. That's nice. You cannot connect to your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. That might be a reasonable downside. Once per turn, during your standby phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one Destiny Hero card from your graveyard, special summon this card. 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense. I'm thinking maybe the reason this card isn't a Destiny Hero monster is the same reason that, what is it? Machina. Oh no. What is the name of the Machina monster that could unintentionally discard himself? What is the name of it? Machina Fortress. It might be a Machina Fortress problem if you could banish Destiny and Dragoon and special summon itself. But Colossal Fighter can get itself. No, don't worry about it. That could have been very easily fixed with the wording. I don't know why this card's not a Destiny hero. But it does come with pretty decent upside. And you're pretty likely to have 2 of your Destiny heroes in the graveyard. And there is support for it. Cloudy and Dragon is the winner, not Phantom. Huh. So this is the Dragoon everyone was so worried about. I don't think a D hero could go any harder than this. Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer takes the effects from Destiny in Dragoon and makes it better. Okay. I think it's pretty decent in Archetype. If he was called a hero, he might have been played once the hero link support showed up. Yeah, I think it's missed opportunity. He does go pretty hard though. I don't know. It's sort of like Yubel Terror Incarnate, where I think it's got too much going on. Just keep adding more detail. We'll put a dragon on his fist, and like a dragon on his chest, and like claws where his ribs should be, and blades on his arm, and on his knees, and on his toes, and on his helmet. We'll add like a bandana coming out of his helmet. Oh, and wings, and oh man. And like one of the dragons is a cannon. Too much going on. I do think that Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem has a lot going on, but it all makes sense. Just to be for the record. Earth Attribute, level 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Machine, Fusion, Effect. Materials, Ancient Gear Golem, plus 2 Ancient Gear Monsters. And you can sort of see, like, Golem's obviously in the middle, and then maybe Beast is there? I don't know. Maybe it's not Beast. And then whatever is the arm. Must be fusion summoned. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate spell/trap card effects until the end of the damage step. If this card is destroyed, you can target 1 Ancient Gear Golem in your graveyard, special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. 4,400 attack, 3,400 defense. This is a nice boss monster. Big investment. Obviously, it's Earth Attribute, not Dark. If you could just bring this out with Overload Fusion, it'd be crazy. Significantly better. But I think that this card's really good in Archetype. It's an all-in play, but it can pay for itself. You get a little bit of a rebate, too. I like it a lot. He's giving Spawn, but if you threw 3 Godzilla suits onto him, Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem kinda win more, but he's truly a cool win more card. He is a win more. I'll agree with that. Oh, Ancient Gear Golem is so sick and somewhat playable. Huge fan of his mechanical centaur. I think we put it here. It's all in. It's going -3. Although, Ancient Gears do have some pretty decent card advantage when you think about, like, Ancient Gear Box just adding another Ancient Gear to your hand when you search for something. So maybe it's not as bad as you think it is. Sometimes you just gotta run a win more card just for the fun of it. Yeah, I'd say it's a fun card. Gets outclassed by Chaos Ancient Gear Golem, but it's usually the float target for that card. Interesting. This pack is just full of archetype support I adore. A lot of big, stupid, attacking, and big number dudes. Gotta love here. Skull Servants, Ancient Gears, Lightsworn, Batterymen. So bad, but fun nonsense. Technically, only a -2. How do you get -2? Ancient Gear Golem, and then 2 Ancient Gear Monsters. And then the Fusion card. I guess if you're using Fusion Gate, it's only a -2. But then you're banishing them, so you can't get your Golem in the graveyard. So. Or if you're counting the Golem, but this card might not be destroyed. It could be sent to the graveyard, or it could be tributed by a Kaiju. He does refund himself. I'll agree with that. Optimistically, he's only a -2. Next up, oh, I'm guessing Lamron's favorite card in the video so far? Question mark? Dark Attribute, level 6, Gladiator Beast, Geysaurus. Wing Beast, Fusion, Effect. Materials are Gladiator Beast Bestiari, plus 1 Gladiator Beast Monster. Must first be special summoned from your extra deck by shuffling the above cards you control into the deck. You do not use polymerization. When this card is special summoned, you can target up to 2 cards on the field. Destroy those targets. At the end of the battle phase, if this card battled, you can return it to the extra deck. Special summon 2 Gladiator Beast monsters from your deck, except Gladiator Beast Bestiari. 2,400 attack, 1,500 defense. Fantastic card. Its spot removal, really strong spot removal. Its stats are decent. This guy is going to survive a lot of battles. Bestiari is already arguably the best Gladiator Beast we have. There is some debate, but you're maxing out on Bestiari already because you want to be popping things, and this just allows you to pop more things. I don't know if it gets all the way to the worth considering today, though. If Lameron's playing Gladiator Beasts and he's playing Geysaris, we'll put it up there. From Lameron himself. The boy arrives. The boy, the boy, the boy. Oh, time for the actually good fusions to show up. Well, it's a -1 because Ancient... okay. Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. Well, it's only a -1 because Ancient Gear Fusion can fusion from the deck if you use Ancient Gear Golem as material. Okay. That's fair. But yeah, Geysaris is great. We'll put him in worth considering today. Next up, Hero Mask. Normal spell. Target one face-up monster you control. Send one elemental hero monster from your deck to your graveyard. And if you do, that target's name becomes the sent monster's name until the end phase. I feel like there's a tiny gimmick that you can do with this. That you can just send a Shadow Mist from your deck to your graveyard and make this card a bootleg Foolish Burial. I mean, I think that's the best application that you're going to get, but you get Shadow Mist's effect. Yeah, Lameron plays Geysaris at 1. Gladiator Beasts are very needing as much toolboxing as you get. I can agree with that. I'm glad he's seeing it. But yeah. Send Shadow Mist. That's not bad. I don't think that there's much other application that I could think of for Hero Mask. Who is it under the mask? Oh, it's Prisma. We'll put it here. Next up, we have Space Gift. Normal spell. Draw one card for each different Neospatian name on the monsters you're calling. That is so weirdly worded. Draw one card for each different Neospatian name on the monsters you control. That's such weird text. I get what it does, but it doesn't feel good. This is draw power. It's not once per turn. You could just draw 5 cards. This card goes +4. I don't think you're going to, but it's conceivable. The laziest art ever? I guess so. They literally just slapped a present on Neospace's art. Ooh. That is true. Art blasted phone keyboards. From Scary Camel, I wish Neospatians were better, so this card was usable. I believe you can use it for draw power, Space Gift, Convert Contact, and one other card come together and make a pretty decent engine. In quotes, decent engine. Next up, Demise of the Land. Quick play spell. When your opponent special summons a monster, activate one field spell card directly from your deck. So Terraforming is at 1. Demise of the Land is sort of more copies of Terraforming, but it's also sort of better than Terraforming because it's reactive. I don't think it's great. If you could activate this card from your hand, it'd be better. But you have to set this card. But let me find it. I believe Summon Breaker is the card that you want to bring out with this. Yeah. You can get out other utility field spells with this, like Necro Valley, for instance, can shut down your opponent. But I believe you play it with Summon Breaker. Demise of the Land saw play to activate Mystic Mine. Oh, I know it saw play. Feels like it's just waiting to become busted. Everything saw play if it would find mine. That is true. I can't believe Mind Strikers is a deck, or was a deck, that you're literally just playing, what is it, Sky Striker Ray? And that's the only monster in your whole deck. Yeah. Summon Breaker, I'm surprised Summon Breaker isn't banned yet. Like, we have Summon Limit, but Summon Breaker's not banned yet? Maybe it's just me. Maybe you see it coming and that's the difference, or I don't know. But let's get Demise of the Land. We'll put it at meta at some point. Pretty reasonable. Next up, we got Deformation, which sort of looks like it should be an alien card. Continuous spell. Each time a face-up Destiny Hero monster you control is destroyed, place 1 D counter on this card for each of those monsters. When you normal or special summon a monster during your main phase, you can send this card with 2 or more D counters to the graveyard. Add up to 2 cards from your deck and or graveyard to your hand with the same name as that monster. This card was almost decent until we got to the end. So this card is slow. You gotta wait for it to accumulate 2 counters, and then your big payoff is that you get 2 more copies of the card that you just summoned. That could be okay. I mean, this card searches any monster you want. Conceivably, this card gets you 2 more copies of Dark Arm Dragon. That's not bad. You gotta keep getting your Destiny Heroes destroyed. And it's slow. And the Destiny Heroes have to get on the field. You can see, like, if you squint really hard, that there might be something going on with Deformation. But it's just not there. Summon Breaker is only main phase 1, so it's usually just a battle phase skip. That's fair. Summon Breaker was broken in Duel Links because there is no main phase 2. Deformation is almost doing something. Good pun name, though. Oh, like deformation. The pun went completely over my head until this moment. So we talked about Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem as being all in card advantage and big dumb numbers. Spell Gear, I think, takes it a step further. Normal spell, send 3 Ancient Gear cards you control to the graveyard, so they gotta already be on the field. You can special summon up to 1 Ancient Gear Golem from your hand and 1 from your deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. Then, destroy all monsters you control except Ancient Gear Golems. You cannot normal summon or set until the end of your next turn. There are so many downsides. So you're going, at best, -2, and then you can't normal summon for 2 turns? Which is crazy, and it wipes your board. It destroys all your other monsters. Spell Gear is all in. If you already have 3 Ancient Gear monsters on the field, are you even getting into a better position with Spell Gear? Something might theoretically break this someday. Okay. Hey, should we give them some upside with all these downsides? Maybe. I think they really thought Ancient Gear Golem was significantly better than it is. It's okay. I like this spell gear exists. I think new players read it and get really excited. But I don't think it's good. Oh, something could break deformation, not spell gear. Okay. Nothing's breaking spell gear for a while. Next up, we have Cup of Ace. I think this is terrible card design. Normal spell, toss a coin, heads, draw 2 cards. Tails, your opponent draws 2 cards. So this card is either Pot of Greed or Gift of Greed. Do you feel lucky? This card is either a +1 or a -3. Those aren't equal. The downside is just so terrible. This card's never used for anything constructive. This is a luck sack card, and not a particularly good one in my opinion. It's not interesting, it's not useful, it's only seen in degenerate strategies, and you'll lose to this in an Exodia deck one day, and you'll be sad. Okay, for $5 a month to Luke Von Karma, your Cup of Ace could always land heads. Let's go gambling. Okay, but what if you did win? Sounds like a skill issue. Just flip heads. I hate that this card is searchable too. One of the Arcana Force cards just searches coin flip cards. I don't like it. I'm putting it right here. Also, I don't even know why it's called Cup of Ace. Isn't that the Holy Grail? Which is not a pot, like the Pot of Greed. The card's just baffling. Even with like second coin toss and or appropriate, I don't think this card is great. Cup of Grail. With appropriate, your opponent draws 2 cards, but then you'll draw 2 cards next time you activate Cup of Ace, I guess. Also busted in early Duel Links, but that's neither here nor there. I think it's the Arcana Cup. More lore I don't know about. Next up, we got Light Barrier. Hey, it's a field spell, searchable, terraforming, demise of the land. During your standby phase, toss a coin. If the result is tails, the following effects are negated until your next standby phase. When you summon an Arcana Force monster, choose which effect to apply without tossing a coin. If an Arcana Force monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you gain life points equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. This is the card that theoretically breaks Arcana Force monsters, except it takes a whole round to get to the point where it does anything, because you activate it during your first turn. You gotta wait till your next turn for your standby phase. I guess you could bring it out during your opponent's turn with Demise of the Land, surprise them, haha. But you still have to wait a whole round for it to do anything. Half the time it does nothing, and the other half of the time it's a little crazy. Because some of the Arcana Force monsters are pretty decent. The World, skip your opponent's next turn. Even the Chariot, just getting in for a little bit of damage. I guess the token off of Moon is okay. Magician gets a little okay. I don't think Empress gets any better, or the Emperor. I don't think those get much better. But yeah, card is crazy. Good night, Milo. I'm glad to see you. Debatably, this is a design mistake and not the world. Light barrier is active the first turn you activate it. The standby phase only turns it off. Oh! You are so right. Yeah. I have misread light barrier. Oh, this card is the problem. Oh, this is the problem. The world isn't the problem. Let's put them next to each other. And they knew what they were doing. Look at the card artwork for Light Barrier. It's got the world in it. They knew what they were doing. I completely misread the card. Thank you for pointing that out, Jace. Yeah, I think the card's not good design. They should both be in the same tier, yeah. It does really make the world too consistent. That's all you need. It's Hecatrice, get Valhalla, special summon the world, activate Light Barrier, and you win the game. Well, you skip your opponent's turn. Functionally, you win the game. Next up, we got Solar Recharge. Normal spell. Discard one Lightsworn monster, draw 2 cards, then send the top 2 cards from your deck to the graveyard. I think this card's worth playing in Modern Lightsworns. It's just acceleration, and the deck really benefits from this kind of acceleration. Digs you deeper in your deck, gets a Lightsworn into the graveyard, and mills from the top of your deck. Don't think it's quite as good as Charge of the Light Brigade, but we'll get that card in a set or two, I believe. Draw and graveyard setup in one card is really good. Yeah. Oh, and it also sets up Lumina. Like, you definitely want a target for Lumina engrave. Possibly this is a better version of, like, Trade-In, too. It does more than Trade-In. And has better and worse targets. And sometimes you have bricks in your hand. Like a Celestia or one of the dragons in your hand. Pretty good card. Lightsworns also get a field spell, Realm of Light. Each time a card is sent from your deck to the graveyard, place 1 shine counter on this card. All Lightsworn monsters gain 100 attack for each shine counter on this card. If this card would be destroyed by a card effect, remove 2 shine counters from this card instead. At least it has a little bit of inherent protection. That is okay. But man, this doesn't trigger nearly as much as I think it should. It's not every card, it's each time a cards. I guess you could trigger it multiple times with Garoth. Like your other Lightsworns are milling and then Garoth will mill on top of that. But then you just get such marginal increase in attack. You gotta mill 5 times for this card to be as good as Luminous Spark that gives you 500 attack points. You gotta mill 5 times? I guess it technically snowballs, but not particularly well in my opinion. Inherent Protection is nice though. I don't think you even play in an archetype though. The best 2-card combo is Solar Recharge, discard the wolf that bricked your hand. Ooh. Funniest day of my life. Funniest day of my life. My friend who lost a Lightsworn regional match because they pulled JD, and that card can't pitch him. Oh, and it's funny to this day, he raged about it, that it should have had JD included on Solar Recharge. Oh, that is funny. Poor Realm of Light. It's like the Gladiator Beast Field spell. Also underwhelming. But what do frogs get? Not specifically frogs, but wetlands, field spell, all aqua type, water, level 2 or lower monsters gain 1200 attack. You play this in wetlands beatdown. There are a decent number of aqua monsters, level 2 or lower, and I don't think wetlands beatdown is particularly good. It's interesting though. It's a lot. It's a big number. Speaking of nonsense that's bad but fun, yeah, I can agree with that. Wetlands does counter synergize with Treeborn Frog though. Has anti-synergy with it. It's also weird that this just doesn't work on all your frogs. What was the holdup? They basically made wetlands for frogs, but then don't reference frogs. Maybe Frog the Jam striking again? I don't know. Moving on, we got Quick Charger. Quick play spell. Add 2 level 4 or lower battery man monsters from your graveyard to your hand. This is like Electric Salvage? Question mark? It's in Archetype. It's a +1 and it's a quick play spell. Arguably you won't, you know, what is it? Battery charger? Charging batteries? It might be called charging batteries. Let me find it. Okay. What is the name of it? That you pay 500 life points and you get a battery back. Can't remember the name of it. Why does Batteryman have like 4 cards for reviving / pulling from graveyard? Batterymen get a bunch of these kinds of cards because they love the theme of recharging batteries. That does make sense. I think it's acceptable in Archetype. I think it's very acceptable in Archetype. Get back your Industrial Strength. Get back, what is it? Triple A? I want to say it's Triple A. Get back your key cards. Now for the big payoff that Batterymen get. Look, it's Industrial Strength right there in the card art. Short Circuit. Normal spell. Activate only if you control 3 or more Batteryman monsters. Destroy all cards your opponent controls. Just fantastic effect. Sets up your OTK very nicely. And this isn't a particularly hard condition to do because you have Inferno Reckless Summon. You can get your Batteryman AA out. Activate Inferno Reckless Summon, get 2 more AAs. You got 3 3000 attack monsters. You activate Short Circuit, and you just go in for the OTK. What are they going to do? How are they going to stop you with no cards on the field? Well, I guess they could use Karibo. Or Temperance. They could use Arcana Force Temperance. But realistically, it's funny. Lamron's spotting something in the future. He sees the bamboo sword coming up. Diamond Dude rubbing his hands together nefariously. Here's the question: do you play Short Circuit or do you play Desk Croaking in your Diamond Dude Turbo? By the way, Diamond Dude in the card artwork for what is the card next to Rainbow Gravity? D Fortune. Diamond Dude in the artwork for D Fortune down there. But yeah, Short Circuit, meta at one point because Batterymen have a few tops. Or we'll put it in acceptable and archetype. Batterymen are getting some pretty decent support this set. You play Ojama Delta Hurricane in Diamond Dude Turbo because it's the funniest card art. Thank you, Jace. That is the right answer. Next up, we got the Light of Redemption. So we had Dark Eruption in the previous set. This is the light counterpart. Dark Eruption, 1500 attack or less, graveyard to hand. Light of Redemption is cost 800 life points, so already worse. Then target one of your banished light monsters, add that target to your hand. Can get more targets, yes. Cost life points, not great. The banished zone is the hard part for me. It's way more likely that your monsters are going to be in the graveyard than banishment, but I want to put it here. Because I would think Dark Eruption, Recurring Nightmare, Salvage, Recycling Batteries, I think they're worth considering today, but I'm not sure if this one is. I think we're just going to keep it down here. I don't hate it. Not a lot of things return from banished to hand, but like, what? But like, what archetype banishes lights that this would be a good option for? I think it might find a home one day. I have never seen a deck that would want to run Light of Redemption. I can agree with that. But maybe one day. I'm thinking maybe Light Ray. Let me find a Light Ray card. Just the first one that comes up. Nope, that one doesn't work. Not Light Ray, Daedalus. What are the other Light Ray cards? Oh, weird. I think I'm really confused. Maybe with Greffer? Maybe with Greffer? Maybe someday it'll see its light. I messed it up. I'm sorry, Lyrical Star. Maybe someday it will see its redemption. Is this the best GX set from Bossa Nova? I think either Phantom Darkness or Light of Destruction are the best. Or Gladiator's Assault, Lamron. It's easily the top 3. As long as you don't pull Arcana or Batteryman, it's not bad. Oh, man. Light Ray Greffer has the stupidest helmet ever. I think it's a reference to Guts' helmet before the Golden Age. Maybe not. Never would have connected it to Guts. I'm pretty sure that's what Warrior Digrapher is based on. Maybe it's just me. Because I believe just he has the same helmet. That's okay. Yeah, I think you're right. The whole demonic temptation, etc., etc. It's hard to say. Phantom Darkness had more immediate impact, in my opinion, but I think more stuff from Light of Destruction aged better in the long run. I can see both. Let's get on to the next card, though. Next up, Mystical Cards of Light. Continuous spell. You cannot use one of your spell/trap card zones. This also takes up one of your spell and trap card zones. During your draw phase, if you control another Mystical Cards of Light, you can draw 2 cards instead of 1 from your normal draw. And keep in mind, you can't have 3 of these out at the same time. I guess you could possibly negate this effect with like Spell Canceller and then get more of them out that way, and then get rid of your own Spell Canceller, and then you'll have 3 Mystical Cards of Light. But then you don't get an additional benefit from that. Anyway, the card's really weird. Sort of like Guarded Treasure. The big problem with Mystical Cards of Light, outside of it locking you out of your spell and traps, is consistency. It is just really hard to open 2 of these in your starting hand. It's very unlikely. On top of that, it doesn't do anything until next turn. On top of that, your big payoff is +1. And that's it. Card is terrible. There's a card called 7, I believe. It's just 7. Let me check. Here we go. It sort of reminds me of 7. Seven is also not a good card. That one requires 3 7s, though, so even less likely. But it also draws more cards. I don't know. I feel like when they designed Mystical Cards of Light, they didn't realize how unlikely it is to open 2 of them. They just made Morganite that completely makes this and Guarded Treasure obsolete. Oh, yeah. Next up, level tuning. And I just want to point out, this is fantastic foreshadowing, because next set we get Synchro Monsters. Or tuners, I guess is what it is. And next set really cares, or I guess the Synchro mechanic in general, really cares about levels. This is excellent foreshadowing. This card could have been in the Duelist Genesis, I guess. Normal spell, reduce the level of all face-up monsters you control by 1 until the end phase. Possibly you could say that this is useful. Like if you're in a rank 4 deck and you want to access something in the rank 3 toolbox, you could use level tuning. I don't think it's a good idea. This is a teaser for 5Ds, yeah. I don't know, the canister reminds me of Nitro Synchron too. I think this card is filler, but it's not bad. Is it worth running a card for? No. Is the effect okay? Yes. Quick Bob Hero says he can't see chat. Strangely enough. Interesting. I think what's happening is YouTube hasn't figured out how to do the chat for the combination of mobile and desktop yet. Sorry, Quick Bob Hero. I think you're in the mobile chat and it's only displaying for me the portrait chat. Next up, Deck Lockdown. Continue a spell. Neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing them. That's a pretty decent effect. This is a pretty decent stun tool right out of the gate. Monsters cannot be special summoned from the main deck. Man, what do they have against gladiator beasts? Destroy this card during your second standby phase after activation. So this card is, I don't want to say limited or banned, but this card is high point card in Genesis format. I think the effect is pretty strong. I think that this is a floodgate that doesn't always come up. It self-destructs, but I think that the amount of time that stays around makes it worth it. I think the card is worth considering, but extremely meta-dependent. Yeah, saw play pretty recently. I don't know why your chat isn't showing up, Quickbug Hero. If you're on desktop, that's weird. Next up, Ribbon of Rebirth. Equip spell. During the end phase, if the equipped monster was destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard this turn, special summon it from the graveyard to your side of the field. Is this useful? It sounds like it's useful. Like you equip Armageddon Knight, for instance, with Ribbon of Rebirth. And then you get to get your monster back. And you get that nice on-summon trigger again. That sounds useful. You use Ribbon of Rebirth maybe in your zombie deck. If you had access to Card of Safe Return. Special summon, go +1. Get your monster back. Well, not go +1. It'd be net neutral card advantage. Is this protection? It's not really protection. It only works with battle. I don't know if it's particularly useful. I think Jerome has confirmed that they design cards like 3 sets ahead, so level tuning was probably named that because of what was coming up. I'm pretty sure Xian Spy was, came out way ahead of its time too. Seems okay with Giant Rat. Ooh, that's an option. Well, we'll say it's good. Or we'll say it's filler. I think filler's okay. Next up, Golden Bamboo Sword. If you control a Bamboo Sword equip spell, draw 2 cards. You run this in Royal Magical Library because your Bamboo Sword, your Broken Bamboo Sword, there are other Bamboo Swords too, for the record. And then you just have more draw power. Put more counters on that Royal Magical Library. I don't think that this card is particularly good for the game. It's got archetype support. We'll put it here because I don't think it's quite as broken as it should. Okay, design mistake. Okay, fair. I wanted to put it in gimmick, but very passionate about that. I don't think this card does anything good for the game. It's just draw power. Next up, Limit Reverse. Continuous Trap. Target one monster with 1000 or less attack in your graveyard. Special summon it in an attack position. If the target is changed to defense position, destroy it and this card. When this card leaves the field, destroy the target. When the target is destroyed, destroy this card. Man, they still haven't learned from Call of the Haunted. You contribute your monster and this card just sticks around for some reason. Ignoring that, this is bad Call of the Haunted, I'd say. Only works on very weak monsters, which isn't the worst thing. I guess Call of the Haunted is at 1. I'm just putting it in filler for now. Next up, we have Hero Blast. Normal Trap. Target one elemental hero normal monster in your graveyard. Add that target to your hand. Not bad. Then, if your opponent controls any monsters with attack less than or equal to that target's attack, destroy one of them. That's not bad. Golden Bamboo Sword is annoying draw power. Broken Bamboo Sword is searchable with so many things that make it very annoying. It provides nothing but to annoy me in particular. Ooh, Limit Reverse can trigger Yubel by switching her to defense position. That is pretty interesting. Is that good in Yubel decks? I don't know. I'll say it's okay in Yubel. It was the only way to make her work for a whole decade. Oh man, okay. Does that make sense? Quick Bob. Okay. From Quick Bob Hero, he imagined that Swordsman of Landstar had a snout. That those weren't eyes and I see it, and that's the worst part. Like you can sort of see that the eyes in the middle of the head are like the nostrils of a snout. That is funny. Back to Hero Blast, though. This is pretty decent. So it only works on your elemental hero normal monsters. So the only one, I guess Sparkman, 1600 attack, not bad. But Neos is 2500 attack. You're pretty likely to be able to recur your Neos. Use it for fusion summon, maybe? Something with it. And then this card is a +1. +1 targeted monster destruction. That's not that bad. It only really works with Neos, though. I think we're gonna put it good? Maybe? Neos Alias. It does work with that one, too. That's fair. I don't know why, Quick Bob, you're not in chat. YouTube, get your game together. Ooh, you play Hero Blast and Hero Beat? That's awesome. Okay. That is awesome. And is your only normal monster in Hero Beat Neos Alias? You can pop a lot of stuff with that, though. We'll put it in meta at one point, but we'll check the playback later. Next up, Rainbow Gravity. Normal trap. If you have 7 Crystal Beast cards with different names on your field and or in your graveyard, special summon 1 ultimate crystal monster from your deck or graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions. Interesting. Rainbow Gravity is good? Question mark. You can get your Rainbow Dragon or your Rainbow Dark Dragon with this card. Obviously, this card has had effect changing errata, but it's archetype inclusion text, so we're not going to worry about it. Or graveyard, so this card actually does work with the new fusions too, because those are treated as ultimate crystal monsters. And I believe Rainbow Neos might even be an ultimate crystal monster. Let me check. Nope. He's still not an ultimate crystal monster. He requires ultimate crystal monsters. That might be what I'm thinking. What a shame. Rainbow Neos gets snubbed again. Okay. I think we just put it here. That if you're playing Crystal Beast, it's not a bad option. Ooh. Interesting. It's so good that you could run it in turbo decks. Sad. Next up, we have Defortune. I don't think this one's a pun. Deformation, at least, was a pun. I can't figure this one out. It's above my head again. Normal trap. When your opponent declares a direct attack, banish 1 Destiny Hero monster from your graveyard in the battle phase. Why aren't you just running Negate Attack? Negate Attack does this better and doesn't cost you a Destiny Hero and isn't archetype specific, and I don't think that this card is searchable within Destiny Heroes. Like, if there was a card that searched D-cards, then maybe this card would be a little bit better, but right now, why aren't you just running Negate Attack? The card's really bad. We'll put it right next to Deformation. I don't understand why this card exists. Next up, we have Reversal of Fate. Normal trap. Select 1 Arcana Force monster you control. That monster's effect is now treated as the opposite coin toss result. Oh boy, we got another option in case you don't get your field spell. I guess Temple of Kings, Reversal of Fate. Now you've got more consistency for your world. I think this card's bad. At least it's an Aster cameo for Defortune. I guess those are his legs, yeah. Quick Bob Hero, cards like D-Fortune make me wish that certain cards in Genesis format costed negative points. Man, the more bad cards you run in your deck, the more points you have available to run good cards. I think you're onto something, Quick Bob Hero. Again, Trinity format sort of does that a little bit, where you get more points if you decrease the consistency of your deck. But more points for running bad cards. I like that option. Next up, Tour of Doom. Continuous trap. During your opponent's standby phase, toss a coin. Heads. Your opponent cannot normal or flip summon until the end of the turn. Tails. You cannot normal or flip summon during your next turn. Can we just put this next to Cup of Ace? For all the same reasons as Cup of Ace? I think I don't like it. I really don't like what this does. It's a 50% chance to just shut your opponent out of the game, sort of. There are decks that can just function without it, without their normal summon. I'm not going to say that that's not a thing that happens, but I just really do not like Tour of Doom. It just feels really bad. And you've already established your board. Say you go first and then you have Tour of Doom. And yeah, you lock yourself out of your normal summon next turn half the time, but the other half of the time you're probably going to win the game. I just don't like what the card does. Next up, Arcana Call. Normal trap. Select one Arcana Force monster you control. Remove from play one Arcana Force monster from either player's graveyard. Oh yeah, great in the mirror. Until the end phase, the selected monster's effect becomes the removed monster's effect for the same coin toss result. Womp womp. So you have to win the coin flip in the first place is the problem with Arcana Call. And then you got to go -1, and then your big benefit for Arcana Call is you get to copy the effect. I'm glad this is a trap card. If this was another option to just cheat out the world's effect, it'd be even worse. I think this card is bad, and that's okay. Next up, Light Spiral. Continuous trap. Each time a card is sent from your deck to the graveyard by the effect of a Light Swarm monster, remove from play the top card of your opponent's deck. I don't understand what this card is trying to do. I guess they're trying to make the Light Swarm mill effect symmetric, but say you mill 2 cards for Garoth or for 3 cards for Raikou, then your opponent is only milling 1 card. Their card gets banished, which is significantly better than going to the graveyard. They're a lot less likely to be able to get access to it. But I don't think it's a good thing. And the card's slow. It only triggers 1 card at a time. You're not going to mill your opponent out with this card, for instance. And cards in the deck aren't active resources. Potentially this could even backfire. Like you Light Spiral and you hit your opponent's Necroface, for instance. That could be bad. I don't get it. I think the card's just bad. What were they even trying to do with this card? Next card, Glorious Illusion. Continuous trap. Activate this card by targeting 1 Light Sworn monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target in face-up attack position. During each of your end phases, send the top 2 cards from the deck to the graveyard. When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. When that monster leaves the field, destroy this card. How do they do this? Limit Reverse forgets about it, and then Glorious Illusion remembers. I think that this is acceptable in Archetype. That's about as high as I want to put it. Call of the Haunted's at 1. This is more copies of Call of the Haunted, but it does have slight upside in getting to mill cards. So I think it's okay. Next up, Counter Trap. Destruction Jammer. Discard 1 card. Negate the activation of a spell card, trap card, or affect monster's effect that destroys a monster's on the field and destroy that card. Doesn't... let me pull it up. Doesn't My Body as a Shield do this? Okay. So My Body as a Shield sort of does the same thing. But is faster. I guess you could play Destruction Jammer and Counter Fairies, because it is 1-for-1 negation. No, it's not. You discard a card. I think that this card is just worse than My Body as a Shield. Even in Counter Fairies. Oh, I think the card's just bad. Too narrow. I guess 1,500 life points compared to a card, yeah. What? Okay. Quick Bob's Hero says, fixed. YouTube for some reason sent me portrait mode on the live stream despite being on desktop. I am so glad you're back in the chat. YouTube is... it boggles the mind, man. Go away, My Body as a Shield. Next up, Froggy Force Field. Normal Trap. Activate only when a face-up frog monster you control, except Frog the Jam, is selected as an attack target. Destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls. They censored the Halo. This is Mirror Force, but for your frogs. I think this is the good place to put it, is just acceptable in Archetype. Not bad, though. Mirror Force is banned, I believe. It might be at 1 at the time. So, I think you'd play Froggy Force Field in your frog deck. Unfortunately, I don't think your frog deck's particularly good right now. Next up, we got Portable Battery Pack. There are a lot of Batterymen revival cards now that we think of it. Continuous Trap. Select 2 Batterymen monsters from your graveyard and special summon them in attack position. When this card is removed from the field, destroy those monsters. When both of those monsters have been removed from the field, destroy this card. This deck card doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost life points. It doesn't discard a card from your hand. It just gives you a +2, sort of. It just gives you a lot of board presence really easily. That's not bad at all. This really facilitates the OTK too. Put it right here. Batteryman are getting pretty stacked. Oh, okay. Froggy Force Field not working with the toads might be a problem. That is fair. So not working with Ronin Totem, Not working with, what is it, Trade Toad. That's fair. Surprised that Portable Battery Pack didn't see much play in the Battery Man OTK. It might be, I don't know. I'm thinking it might be win more. Might be too big of an investment. Oh, Ronin Toadin counts as Death Frog. Does it? I thought Dupe Frog counted as Death Frog. Okay, Ronin Toadin. Here, let me pull it up for you. Okay. No, Ronin Toadin does not. Oh, it does treat it. Never mind, I'm just wrong. So I guess Ronin Toadin does count as a frog. So I'm wondering what doesn't it work? Trade Toad? Is that what I'm thinking of? Okay, Trade Toad. It doesn't work with Trade Toad, I guess. I don't know. I still think it's acceptable in Archetype, though. Moving on, we got Gladiator's Lash. Normal Trap. Activate only when you special summon a Gladiator Beast monster. Your opponent discards one card of their choice. I don't like the design of this card. X-Sabers get the same thing in a little while too. I don't like ripping cards out of your opponent's hand. But I don't think it's a bad effect. It's of their choice, so you're never going to get the most valuable thing out of their hand. Like you can sometimes with, I believe Donzalug is random. So, or the best option from like the Forceful Sentry or Confiscation. So, I don't like it, but I think it's still playable. Next in, more Cloudian support. With Raging Cloudian. Activate only when a Cloudian monster you control is destroyed by its own effect and sent to the graveyard. Special summon one of those monsters from the graveyard in attack position and place one fog counter on it. It cannot be changed to defense position by a card effect. What? So your Cloudian self-destructs, as they want to do, and then you get it back, and you get a fog counter as your payoff. And then it prevents it from moving to defense position, so it won't self-destruct again at least. From Lamron, the Gladiator Beast Mech. Uh-oh. Are we connected? Your microphone is unmuted but has no signal. Hear you. Now we're good. Okay, we're back. I can hear you. Thank you, Lyrical Star. I don't know, man. What happened? I don't think this card does anything useful. I just wish there were better ways to do fog counters. Next up, I can't believe this is the TCG artwork. This just looks... Honestly, it looks scary enough to be a Magic the Gathering card. Personally, it's not like it's too much. It just, I don't know. I know Scrap Factory's got the thumbs up from Terminator in it. There's just something about Sanguine Swamp that doesn't feel like a more modern Yu-Gi-Oh card. It feels like it could be a Duel Monsters card in terms of artwork, is what I want to say. Continuous Trap. If you control any other spell or traps, destroy this card. Face down spell and traps cannot be activated. Destroy this card during your second standby phase after activation. Is that good? Do you activate Sanguine Swamp and then your opponent sets cards and waits? I sort of feel like Anti-Spell Fragrance does this. I think that this card's supposed to be a counterpart to Deck Lockdown, but I don't think it does anything. Like in the modern game. I think you might be better off running, let me find it. Yeah. I think you might be better off running Xingjin Hu that just stops 2 of your opponent's face downs. Gladiator Beast Slash whipped your connection out of service. It does look like a bit out of place. When I first saw this card years ago, I thought it was a cloud with arms coming down. Let's get the artwork back up. Interesting. I don't know. I think this card does nothing, which is bad. Next up, Lucky Chance. Continuous Trap. Once per chain, if a monster's effect is activated that tosses a coin once, call heads or tails. And very interesting that only works on tossing a coin once. So like the Gun Dragons don't trigger this. Call heads or tails. If your call matches the coin toss for that monster effect, draw 1 card immediately after that effect resolves. I see why it doesn't work with the Gun Dragons, because you'd get 3 chances at it, and that'd be crazy. But I don't know. It feels like it doesn't quite do what I want it to do. But this is draw power in your coin toss deck. It's a 50-50 on your draw. I think we just put it next to the other Arcanas, because that's where it goes. I guess the whole set is themed around coin flips. Maybe not the whole set, but it's definitely a theme. Okay. I just looked up. Yeah, there's Wing Karibo on the coin. It is cute. It is a cool card artwork. Except Wing Karibo doesn't have a coin flip effect, so why are you on there? But I guess that is another Yugi card, so good eye. Next up is Summon Limit. I looked it up. It is 100 points in Genesis format. And it is forbidden in both the TCG and the OCG. So I think we're pretty okay to put it up here in Design Mistake. Simple effect. Neither player can summon more than 2 times per turn. This shuts down, like, everything? You can't make a Synchro monster. Can't make an Xyz monster. You can make one link 1 if you wanted to. It's not asymmetric. It is symmetric, but the fact that it's a trap, you wait till your opponent's turn, you trigger this, and then your opponent can't do anything. It just shuts down the game. There's not a lot of counterplay to it. Summon Limit aged really well. I think it aged too well. Artwork's great, though. Next up, Dice Try. Counter Trap. When your opponent activates a spell/trap card or monster effect that requires a die roll, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Hey, it's 1-for-1 negation. Hits everything. It's universal. If they're playing die roll cards, which happens, I guess. I feel like Dice Try has one application and it's not a particularly good one. But if you're playing a gimmick deck, like in a video game, especially in story mode, you go up against, I don't know, Duke Devlin, for instance, he rolls a lot of die. Then you tech in 3 copies of Dice Try, and in that particular instance, it's okay. Man, this card is never going to be useful. Even though there are a couple die roll cards that did see play, like Snipe Hunter, for instance. But are you running this one counter trap to specifically take out your opponent's Snipe Hunter? Probably not. Next up, more Lightsworn. We have Arcus, Lightsworn Druid. Light attribute, level 3. Beast Warrior. No, you just look like a normal warrior to me. Effect, neither player can target Lightsworn monsters anywhere with card effects. So I guess... Hold on, does Glorious Illusion target? Yeah, Glorious Illusion targets. So Arcus counter synergizes with Glorious Illusion. That's silly. During each of your end phases, send the top 2 cards from your deck to the graveyard. 1200 attack, 1800 defense. I guess it's protection, but I don't think it's particularly useful. If this didn't have the word Lightsworn in its name, like how Xian's Foot Soldier isn't a 6 samurai, I don't think that this card would be useful at all. But it is another name. I don't know why it's a Beast Warrior. With all these coin flip effects in the set, we better print Dice Hate. Yeah? Arcus also shuts off your own Lumina. Oh, that sucks too. Man, what's wrong with Arcus? Next up, Aaron, Lightsworn Monk. Light attribute, level 4. Warrior, effect. If this card attacks a defense position monster, before damage calculation, shuffle that monster into the deck. This is pretty decent. Just ignore flip effects, ignore battle floating. You can force your opponent's monster into defense position, say like with a Book of Moon, and then you can just get rid of it with Aaron. Very flexible, very good effect. Once per turn, during your end phase, send the top 3 cards from your deck to the graveyard. 1600 attack, 1000 defense. The fact that this card is a warrior means that it wasn't just in Lightsworn decks. You could just fit this into your warrior toolbox. Very good card. We'll put you like that. Ooh, Aaron can even counter your opponent's Raikou. Yeah, because it's a flip effect monster. Very nice observation. I mentioned earlier with Dark Valkyria that there was just some, I don't know, leftover cards from Phantom Darkness. There were a couple light monsters in the Phantom Darkness too, but one of them is Dark General Freed. So Freed the Naturalist General is, I guess, this card's normal counterpart. I mean, that was an Earth monster, but, you know. Dark Attribute, level 5, Warrior effect, cannot be special summoned. Negate any spell cards that target a face-up dark monsters you control. And if you do, destroy that spell card. Nice. A little bit of protection. During your draw phase, instead of conducting your normal draw, you can add one level 4 dark monster from your deck to your hand. This card must be face up on the field to activate and to resolve this effect. 2300 attack, 1700 defense. The fact you can't special summon it really sours the card for me. The effect's not bad. A draw replacement, and it has protection. Fairly decent protection, I'd say. Protection from Book of Moon, protection from like Tribute to the Doomed or Offerings to the Doomed, protection from Brain Control. I believe Brain Control is not banned at this point. Pretty decent. Next up, Magical Exemplar. Earth Attribute, level 4, Spellcaster effect. Each time a spell card is activated, place 2 spell counters on this card when that spell resolves. Usually you only get 1. Once per turn, you can remove any number of spell counters from this card, special summon one spellcaster monster from your hand or graveyard, whose level is equal to the number of spell counters you removed. Is that good? 1700 attack, 1400 defense. You can play Extend with this card, especially if you can cycle a few spells in your turn. You can get this card with like Summoner Monk, and then Summoner Monk would be in the graveyard if you used it as synchro or link material, or detached it as part of an XZ material. Then you could recur that with Exemplar. Doesn't negate the effect of the monster you special summon. Alternatively, you could get out like a level 1 or 2 spellcaster reasonably easy from your hand. I'm just wondering if this is worth considering today, and the answer is maybe? The effect's pretty okay, but I don't know if it's good enough. It is a soft once per turn too, for what that's worth. I feel like it has a little bit of potential. Next up, we got Maniacal Servant. Dark Attribute, level 3, spellcaster effect. Once per turn, during your opponent's standby phase, you can remove from play any number of dark monsters from your graveyard. This monster gains 500 defense for each monster you removed until the end phase. It's not even permanent. 600 attack, 1000 defense. It really looks like a zombie to me, but I guess it can be a spellcaster. This card does nothing, and it banishes your dark monsters from your graveyard, and you probably want those in your graveyard. I think the card's very bad. It does nothing. If it only said 500 attack, I don't think it would be any better, because it only works during your opponent's standby phase. I mean, the fact that this card has to be in defense position, in face-up defense position, makes it worse. I mean, it doesn't have to. You could have this in attack position and banish those and gain defense for no reason, if you wanted to. Banish your scout planes for value. I don't like it. Oh wait, never mind, just saw that law. Yeah, thanks Yuki. Next up, Nimble Musasabi. New Nimble card. I think the only one we have so far is Mamonga. We might have Super Nimble Hamster. I'm not sure when he came out. Earth Attribute, level 2, Beast effect. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. You can also special summon up to 2 Nimble Musasabi from your deck to your opponent's side of the field in face-up attack position. This card cannot be tributed for a tribute summon. 800 attack, 100 defense. But wait a second. You're giving your opponent monsters. Why do you want to do that? And then if you destroy the Nimble Musabi, do they take the damage because it goes to your graveyard, or do you take the damage? I think they still take the damage when you run over them by battle. I think they still take the damage, but that's confusing. I don't know. Silent Wabi is just messing with my head, I think. Is this even better than the Nimble Momonga? I don't think so. Giving your opponent monsters right before we get synchros? Oh man, that's sad. It is deck thinning, I guess. Beasts have a lot better options. We got the Flying Squirrel, we got Hyena, and we got Bubonic Vermin. I don't think this card needed to be printed. I just can't get over this card being a -2. Okay, Hamster didn't come out till Absolute Power Force. Thank you. Next up, we got Flame Sprite Ignis. Fire Attribute, level 4, Pyro, effect. You contribute 1 face-up fire monster to inflict 100 damage to your opponent for each fire monster in your graveyard. 1500 attack, 1200 defense. Can you see what this card is missing? It's missing a hard once per turn. If you can get loop fire monsters, or just special summon a whole bunch of them, or get the critical mass necessary in the graveyard and then just start launching your board, you can FTK with this card. It's interesting too. I'm wondering how many fire monsters you even need in the graveyard, because after you tribute one, that's in the graveyard now, so you need less as you progress. It can tribute itself too. So say you have 5 on field. What do you need? 13? Do you need 13 engraved with 5 on field? I don't think the card's good for the game. I don't think we've had a tribute to burn card in the game that hasn't been in design mistakes so far. And I think that's going to continue. Oh, actually, I take that back. Manthro Tro, which was tributing normal monsters, non-tokens. That one was okay, I think. Next up, Super Ancient Dino Beast. Earth Attribute, level 8, Dinosaur effect. You can tribute summon this card in face-up attack position by tributing 1 dinosaur-type monster. When a dinosaur-type monster is special summoned from your graveyard, except during the damage step, while this monster is on the field, you can draw 1 card. 2700 attack, 1400 defense. I'm wondering if this is useful in modern dinosaurs. The effect is good. It's not once per turn either. So if you can get a lot of dinosaurs from your graveyard, you can just keep gaining card advantage. You can also get this card out relatively easily. I think it's worth considering today. I think it's one of those cards that you need to build around, and I don't know if quite the necessary infrastructure is around it yet. There are a lot of dinosaur revival cards too. Yeah. I think we're going to keep it there for now. Next up, Vanquishing Light. Counter Trap. When a monster would be special summoned, tribute one Lightsworn monster, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monster. So you read this card and you're thinking, oh, that sounds pretty good. And then you think about it for just a bit longer, right? And isn't this card just Horn of Heaven, but worse? Where Horn of Heaven can just tribute any monster for this effect? Oh man. I think that just makes the card very bad. Because it's worse Horn of Heaven. Next up, Tualatin. This card. Light attribute, level 2468, fairy effect. If it is your opponent's battle phase, a monster you controlled at the start of the battle phase was just destroyed, and all monsters you controlled at the start of the battle phase, minimum 2, have now been destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard. You can special summon this card from your hand. If summoned this way, choose an attribute, and if you do, destroy all face-up monsters with that attribute. Your opponent cannot normal or special summon monsters with that attribute. 2800 attack, 2500 defense. Okay. Thankfully, this convoluted special summoning mechanic is hard to use. If it's your opponent's battle phase, a monster you controlled at the start of this battle phase was just destroyed, and all monsters you controlled at the start of this battle phase, minimum 2, have now been destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard. So you have to have at least 2 monsters on the field. Both of them have to be destroyed by battle, and those are the only monsters you could have out at that point. Oh man. This card is so awkward. I get what it's trying to do. It's sort of like a Goddess of Sweet Revenge, except not quite there yet, I'd say. I'm just going to say it's filler. Something reminds me of Adam from Neon Genesis Evangelion, though. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's the fact it doesn't have legs and its arms are like that. I'm glad the card isn't a little bit better, because this card popping all your opponent's monsters and then preventing them from summoning. Oh man, it's sort of like a Gozen match. Next up, Divine Knight Ishzark. Light attribute, level 6, warrior effect. After damage calculation, when this card destroys a monster by battle, banish that monster. 2300 attack, 1800 defense. Demok gets this effect. This is really underwhelming. I wouldn't say that that's particularly good. The attack points aren't particularly good either. It's like a tiny little bonus that you'd expect on an otherwise well-statted monster. A little sad. And finally, the third card in this series, Angel 07. Light attribute, level 7, fairy effect. When this card is tribute summoned, it gains the following effect. The effects of effect monsters cannot be activated. 2,500 attack, 1,500 defense. Controversially, I'm going to put this right next to Summon Limit for the same reason. In Genesis format, Angel 07 is 100 points. This card just really limits what you can do in the game. Not him. Why is he here already? Oh, wait, wrong Zark. Yeah. I don't think Angel 07's particularly good for the game. Next up, Union Attack, which doesn't actually work with the Union monster mechanic. Confusing, I know. Artwork's pretty good, though. Normal spell, target one face-up monster you control. Add up the total attack of all other face-up attack position monsters you control. Then, during the battle phase of this turn only, the monster gains that much attack, but cannot inflict battle damage to your opponent. Also, other face-up attack position monsters cannot attack. Man. We have this other card. Yeah. It just reminds me of Ryoku. Except Ryoku is better. You can steal your opponent's attack. I just don't think it's worth it. From Lamron. These three feel like they're rated, but they just aren't. I think this card's just bad. I don't know why it prevents you from doing damage. I feel like it's overkill. Oh, you feel like the three cards previously, Talatuan, Ishzark, and Angel 07 are all related? They are! They all come from Yu-Gi-Oh! R, which is something I have not dived into yet. I believe they're all played by the same duelist, too. Next up, Owner's Seal. Normal spell. Return control of all monsters on the field to their owners. You can do this with kaijus, which I think is silly. I think that's the only thing I can use. Angel 07 has some points in Genesis. It's 100 points, I believe. Oh, right! Yu-Gi-Oh! R! That thing my friend called Yu-Gi-Oh! When are you going to get around to reading this? Snark, snark. I'll get to it one day. The manga in general is something I need to read. Starting with like everything from season 0. I'll read it one day. Next up, our third... I didn't rank it. I think it's a gimmick. I think you can take back your kaijus. And I think that's the only use for it. The manga is so good. Okay. I'll get to the manga. We have our third of the Helios trilogy. Trice Majestus. Light attribute. Level 2, 4, 6, 8. Pyro effect. You can special summon this card by tributing one Helio Duo Majestus. This card's attack and defense are each equal to the number of removed from play monsters times 300. After this card attacks, it can attack once more if your opponent controls a monster. So same thing as BLS, Envoy of the Beginning. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, special summon it during the end phase, and it gains 500 attack and defense. This card is just really hard to bring out and not particularly strong. I think it's just bad. The name, though, is actually really interesting. That Trismegistus is a concept in alchemy where you become the 3 incarnation of Hermes, I believe. And it's like a moment of zen or transcendence is where the name comes from. It's like one of the end goals of alchemy in addition to making the Philosopher's Stone. Cool name. Maybe I shouldn't tell people things are good. I am well known for my love of bad things. I wouldn't say that, Lamron. There's a lot of things that, how did my mom say it earlier today? Things that bring you joy are worth being celebrated. Okay. Why did we have dice try earlier in the game? Well, because we have Dangerous Machine Type 6, of course. Continuous spell. During each of your standby phases, roll a 6-sided die and apply the result. So it doesn't do anything until your next turn. Excellent. 1. Discard 1 card. Awful. 2. Your opponent discards 1 card. Okay. 3. Draw 1 card. Yay! 4. Your opponent draws 1 card. Awful. 5. Destroy 1 monster your opponent controls. Okay. 6. Destroy this card. This machine's definitely dangerous. But it does nothing. Your opponent gets a whole turn to interact with it before it goes off. Are they going to use their Mystical Space Typhoon on this? I don't even know. It sort of reminds me of Crazy Box. Except Crazy Box is sort of decent. Maybe it's just me. I think the card is very bad, though. It's just not worth the risk. Arguably, it's asymmetric, where it's popping monsters, and then it's only popping itself on the negative result. And I guess discarding a card from your hand, you can run this in Dark World. I don't know. I don't like Dangerous Machine Type 6. But what about 7? Next up, Maximum 6. And if you look at the card artwork, he has a V and an I tattooed on his chest. I hope it's tattoo. I didn't see it that way. For the longest time, I thought he was bleeding. that he had a couple blood streaks just coming down off of his chest. Why did they make it red? Like, they could have picked any other color. And it's not very obvious that it's a 6 because it's Roman numerals. Maybe it's just me. Earth Attribute, level 6, Warrior Effect. When this card is Tribute Summoned, roll a 6-sided die. This card gains attack equal to the result times 200. So, roll a 1, 2100 attack. Roll a 2, 2300 attack. Roll a 3, 2500 attack. Wow, you've got a Summon Skull at that point. Roll a 4, 2700 attack, so you're above average. 5, 2900 attack, you're getting pretty big. 6, 3100 attack. Wow, that's more than the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Your expected return is going to be 3.5. So on average, this card is better than a Summon Skull. But I don't think it's particularly good. The 2 fail cases where it's 21 or 2300 attack, that's not very good. I think the card is either bad or very bad. I'd rather have a Summon Skull most of the time. Okay. Next card, Fog King. Water Attribute, level 7, Spellcaster, effect. You contribute 1 monster, or no monsters, to normal summon, but not set this card. The attack of this card becomes the combined original attack of the tributed monsters. So it's sort of like the Maju Garzette and Great Maju Garzette. Not as good as either. And then it has the floodgate effect. Neither player can tribute cards. So this is Mask of Restrict. It just has a Mask of Restrict effect. It's on a 0/0 body, but you could get this directly from the deck with the card, I believe, Special Summon 0/0s. You can special summon it, and then get this floodgate effect if you wanted to. I don't know if it's impactful enough to be useful, though. It does stop kaijus. You can just put your Fog King on top of your board, and then they can't kaiju or Winged Dragon of Ra or Lava Golem. They can't hit you with any of those. Does prevent entire mechanics. Does prevent the ritual summon, for instance. Maybe it's just me. Final card in the set, and I think this is where we're going to call it for tonight, is Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo. Pachycephalo. Earth attribute, level 4, rock, effect. Doesn't look like a rock. I guess it's like a Pokemon fossil type Pokemon are always rock type. If this card is flipped face up, destroy all special summon monsters on the field. And then the scary part, neither player can special summon monsters. 1200 attack, 1300 defense. It's basically a barrier statue. Possibly better? That special hurricane effect is pretty good too. Design mistake just like the barrier statues? Yeah. Fog King, not to be confused with King Fog. Let's pull it up so that everyone knows what you're talking about. There we go. There is King Fog. Oh, have a good night. Yeah. Oh, it's late. I do want to announce one thing. Wow, get that King Fog in the design mistakes. Too powerful. Just be glad he's not a frog. King Frog would be even worse. Yeah. One more announcement. There is going to be a hiatus on stream, at least until the new year. I think I'm going to possibly finish up this set at some point. But it's going to be a little while before return to streams with Duelist Genesis. I think I'm going to take a break at the end of each era. So, once we finish 5Ds, there'll be a little bit of a hiatus before we get into Zexal, and that will be the pattern going forward. I want to work on some videos, and the holidays are coming up, so it might be a little while. Hopefully middle of January. That out of the way. Hope everyone sleeps well. I will finish this set at some point. Good night.